early, baby. Set it early. 180.
Listening to all Chiefed Up, the best damn Kansas City Chiefs podcast in the kingdom.
Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew, we're doing a little free agency tracker right now, Steve. Let's jump right into it, my boy. How's everybody doing today?
Man, I bet everybody's super pumped about the Chiefs signing so far.
Look,
I bet
the Chiefs,
they are.
They've made a few moves. They've signed back a few ERFAs. That includes, that includes Mike Caliendo, some of the guys, Najee Johnson, Malik Herring. Okay, those are cool moves. You got to do stuff like that. That's roster building. We signed back James Winchester yesterday, Steve. Long snapper James Winchester. That was our big move of the day yesterday. Was James Winchester. By the way, best long snapper in the game, baby. Today we have We have finally brought Patrick Mahomes in a pass catching weapon by the name of Irv Smith Jr., formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals.
You better watch that sarcasm. Everybody's going to think that they got some gold with Irv Smith.
Irv.
Just real quick, let's just talk about that real quick and get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's talk about Irv and get him out of the way.
We'll discuss some more of the different signings that's happened.
Steve, did you see Irv Smith coming?
Yeah, didn't everyone? It's funny because
we didn't even put Irv on our list.
Why would he be?
Exactly.
So the thing about it is, like, I have no opinion about it. He's just a depth signing. That's all it is, right?
Right.
I mean, a lot of people are saying that it's a Blake Bell replacement. Well, he can't replace Blake Bell because he can't block. So it's not necessarily that.
Yeah, that is true.
So yeah, it's just one of those guys that never really panned out, and I guess Veach thinks he has a little bit of a ceiling there, and they needed a tight end. I mean,
right. So you mentioned he can't block. I'm going to bring up his blocking grades so everybody can see him. This was his blocking grades last season. His overall offensive grades, he's in the orange the whole way down. He's got 2 games in the green. He had a 74.5 against Buffalo week 9. He had a 66.6. Satan would be proud. Back against Minnesota week 15. By the way, he used to play for Minnesota. If you look at his run blocking grades, he is basically orange and yellow down the board. He has 2 that made it in to the green. And then his pass blocking grades don't even do that a whole lot. So he's got 2 oranges, 1 green. Steve, he's not very good. If you look down here at the bottom, his season grades, he's been in the league since 2019. His pass blocking grades for the season, 61, 29, 44, 53.6. And his run blocking grades are barely any better. 53, 56, 57, 64.8. I don't think that Irv Smith is that much better of a run blocker than anybody that we would just about. Let's just go to offense overall. It's not much here, guys. Like, it's too hard.
It's a depth signing. That's it.
Right, Steve. It's hard to try to make this look like this is a great signing. And we were cracking up. We were like, how is everybody on Twitter and all of Chiefs Kingdom going to make this look like Irv Smith's the greatest tight end in the history of the world? Because it's just not that. Like, if you want to look at his overall grades, I mean, come on, this was his grades last year. A 44 on offense, a 42.8 as a receiver, a 55.9 drop rate score. He did only have 2 drops last year. Congrats on that.
That's enough about Irv Smith. I guess the only question that brings up is,
Steve, why are you trying to get rid of Irv so quick?
Because it's boring.
This is our free agency news. This is Brett Veach cooking right now.
Well, here's my thing. I think if anyone expected a whole lot more from free agency, they haven't been paying attention to the Chiefs in the last.
That's true, but we did think, even we thought that he would have to dip his toes in the wide receiver market. Because
I still think he could.
You didn't want to go in with the same junk as we had last year. And the funny thing is, I seen somebody post on X just a few minutes ago, and they said, is Brett Veach trying to have a worse wide receiver room than last year? And I just wrote and said, challenge accepted.
Well, that's impossible because they don't have MVS right now, and it's
That's
automatically
true.
better,
It's
right?
automatically upgraded.
Well, here's the thing, man. Will they sign the receiver? I don't know. We kept saying that's what they should do. And I do know that the top 2 fits that we had for the team most likely to sign with them are still available.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that one. Anthony says if Brett Veach is cooking, he's making ramen noodles.
Well, I mean, I think people got to stop expecting Brett Veach to make big moves in free agency. I mean, even the big move last year was, who was it? Jawan Taylor.
Yeah, see, Caleb even says this. We don't typically make moves in free agency. We need to find a solid wide receiver 1. But to go to your point, we don't do a lot of big moves in free agency. We usually don't. MVS was like our big signing a couple years ago. I think last year our best signing was Drew Tranquil, believe it or not. I don't even think it was Jawan Taylor.
I think people need to realize that, first of all, we've had the biggest signing of any team with Chris Jones.
Yes, 100%.
Like he was the number 1 after free agent was Chris Jones, and we retained him. So I mean,
you can't overlook that one. That was a big move.
So it's easy to overlook because we were just retaining him, right? It wasn't someone new. It wasn't a new toy. But yeah, like I said, there's still 2 receivers out there in Hollywood Brown and Curtis Samuel that we said would be the 2 most likely receivers to sign with the Chiefs that are still available. So yeah, could Brett Veach work something out and get one of these guys before the day ends? Quite possibly. Or someone else could too, because free agency's been nuts so far. If you have Twitter and you go on there, it looks like someone's putting together a Madden franchise. Like it's just chaos right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But to that point, I guess let's talk about some of the bigger signings so far. Today, obviously, the big news is Derrick Henry going to the Ravens. To me, that was the most predictable free agency signing of the entire offseason.
Really? I kind of thought Dallas would make a play at him.
He had Ravens written all over it. I mean, when there's a running back piece or any kind of piece that can help run the ball, the Ravens are going to go after it because they're the most middle school team in the NFL. Like, we're going to run and run and run and run.
Surprised Harbaugh's brother that just come over to the Chargers. Surprised he didn't try to do that because that's what he's wanting to do now. He's wanting to pound the rock.
They took the leftovers.
Yeah, he took Gus Edwards. He got Gus Edwards. So they made a move there. And I firmly believe he's going to take a tackle at pick number 5 in the draft. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Joe Walt go there or J.C. Latham. So he's wanting to do it. But yeah, to your point, Derrick Henry signs with the Ravens. 2 years, $16 million. They're giving him $18 million per, $9 million guaranteed.
Let's just stick to running backs. Like, we'll just stick to running backs for now. So obviously Derrick Henry with the Ravens. Earlier this morning, Aaron Jones signed with the Vikings. Obviously, he was released by the Packers yesterday. I thought that was an intriguing guy that the Chiefs could have looked at. Obviously, he got more money than Chiefs are willing to deal out for a running back, but he's that type of running back that the Chiefs could have really had some fun with. Joe Mixon ended up not getting cut by the Bengals and was traded to the Texans, and then the Bengals signed Zach Moss. The big news besides Derrick Henry to the Ravens is Saquon Barkley to the Eagles yesterday. Also, super predictable. I guarantee you we could, if we would have been looking at other teams, Mike, we would have nailed those 2 picks. It's just too obvious.
Right.
And then
here's Adam Schefter, Steve. He's put up all the new running back homes. This has been a crazy running back free agency period, right?
Yeah, I think DeAndre Swift went to the Bears yesterday. That was a big one. Tony Pollard to the Titans. Josh Jacobs to the Packers. Austin Eckler went to the Commanders, I think. Who else, Mike?
So it seems like every year, it seems like the Patriots have the offseason that Chiefs fans want. Last year, we wanted to get something done with Juju again and bring him back a little long-term. Brett Veach wasn't having it.
They grabbed Antonio Gibson, right?
And then they go out, and we were like, look, Antonio Gibson would be a nice little piece. He would be a nice piece. We even put him up. Let me see where we had him. We had him up as our first one outside of our 2 guys we had. So here it is. So where he goes, the Patriots. We had Calvin Ridley at 4. News is right now that they're trying to sign Calvin Ridley, but he's wanting to stay in Jacksonville. That's what they're reporting. Adam Schefter's reporting that the Patriots are making a push, but he wants to stay in Jacksonville.
He wants to stay in that nice weather, baby. He ain't trying to go up there to Boston.
Why are you going to Boston? Too much taxes. You get free state tax in Florida. The sun's a shining. It's not snowing.
Right.
Who wants to go up there?
I think the only other running back we haven't discussed, we talked about Gus Edwards to the Chargers, but Devin Singletary went to the Giants.
That's a good signing.
Yeah, the Giants made some moves yesterday.
The Giants did make some moves. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But isn't it crazy? The running back market usually is pretty a dud. You know, this was a big-time running back market. Don't get me wrong. You had Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones. Well, Aaron Jones wasn't even supposed to be on there. They just cut him. But you had Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs didn't get his deal worked out. Austin Eckler was going to be on there. Swift, Singletary, Antonio Gibson. And you were like, are they really going to pay these running backs? And yes, running backs got paid. Remember last year when they were crying about how running backs were overlooked and they wasn't getting paid market value, and they had a complete crybaby fest. Do you remember that whole little saga they had? And I feel like it worked. I feel like the NFL owners are like, okay, let's appease the running backs this year.
And it's funny because the Chiefs are going to prove once again you can just draft one late in the draft and continue to win with them.
Steve, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 teams. That is essentially almost half of the NFL got themselves a new running back toy. Out of the remaining, say, 17 teams left, somewhere in that ballpark, I would say 5 to 6 to 7 do not need a running back. We need depth pieces, right? So we're probably in that like 5 to 10 range of teams that do need some sort of a running back help, especially with Jerick McKinnon and Clyde probably being gone. What does this mean for the draft, dude? Because you're going to have excellent running backs fall in. I don't even think the first running back is going to even go to the third round now. I think after all this, I think you don't even get a running back drafted in the second round.
Well, if Jonathan Brooks is there in the third round, you don't think Brett Veach might take a stab at that?
Maybe, except for the fact that Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL last November. So is he even going to be ready to play? So there's
They're just some big names, though.
He's the best running back. In my opinion, it shouldn't hurt him that bad, but teams are going to look at that and be like, hey, that's a running back coming off an ACL. I don't know.
But and of course, Trey Benson from FSU.
Trey Benson would be a nice little – he may actually get the first running back off the board because of the ACL issue.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the kid from
Trey Benson's got a lot of speed and like makes people miss.
He ran like a 4.34, 4.38. It was up there. It was pretty good. Yeah. He's a big kid too. He's kind of like a Kareem Hunt kind of body style. I love the kid out of Tennessee, Jalen Wright. I think he's a flat out dog. I think he's fast. I think he's lightning in a bottle. I think he looks like Alvin Kamara. I love him.
Right. And then, of course, you still got Blake Corum from Michigan, Bucky Irving.
So,
he's already talked to Bucky.
We could snag any of these guys. And I'm telling you, I don't even feel like one is going to go before the third round now. All this running back stuff, I guarantee you a running back don't come off the board before round 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, man.
So the Chiefs can get a top-tier running back in round 3, round 4, and even in round 6 or 7, you're now going to get a running back that's probably graded like mid-round in like round 7, maybe even a UDFA. It's crazy.
Right. So, well, some of the other fun things that happened yesterday, Mike. Well, actually, the very first signing probably that anyone talked about was Russell Wilson to the Steelers.
Right.
Man, so here's the only thought I have on that. If Russell Wilson causes Mike Tomlin to have his first losing season in Pittsburgh, Russ just needs to hang him up, bro.
Well, I'm going to be dead serious here. Russell Wilson's not going to do no better than he did in Denver if they do not solidify that offensive line, and they've got to help the defense as well. You've got to help the defense on the back end. They still need corners. They still need another corner. They took Joey Porter, what was it, pick 33 last year, first pick in the second round. They took Joey Porter Jr. Still got to have another corner. They got to be looking at corner. Maybe they're looking at like Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Maybe they're looking at somebody like that. So, but they also need interior offensive linemen. These guys need to be looking at a Graham Barton or Jackson Powers Johnson. They've got to seal that up.
The thing about it with the Steelers is it was almost a no-brainer. They can pay Russ $1.2 million for this year, and the Broncos are paying the rest of the salary.
The bill.
So it's kind of a you can't really lose with that if you're the Steelers, because first of all, Russell is not really a step back from Kenny Pickett by any means. So I mean, if they can get him for $1.2 million, then why not, I guess. One thing that has been noticeable to me, Mike, and we'll talk about this more in just a second because there's something else I want to bring up. but is Justin Fields. No one gives a crap about Justin Fields. And that's kind of where I've been at the whole time. Like, I don't think Justin Fields is a very sought after piece. I don't think he's it. And I don't think NFL teams think he's it because the Bears couldn't get rid of him to save their life. So
do you think the Vikings might have to look at him now?
They went and signed Darnold.
They did. I don't think they do. I think they'll just go to the draft and maybe take one.
Which is not going to
has
please
to look at
Justin
him.
Jefferson. You know, Justin Jefferson's
Poor
not doing
Justin
backflip.
Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's got to be sitting there just crying right now on the inside.
One signing that I think got more significant today because of what the Chiefs just did by signing Irv Smith was the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals signed Mike Gesicki to a one-year deal up to $3 million. Mike, what did we pay Irv Smith? Is there any details on the contract there?
I'll have to look. So far, I haven't seen nothing.
Surely to God, it's nowhere close to that. Because if you're paying Irv Smith anywhere close to what you could have got Gesicki for, then I think that was a miss.
They're showing that the deal's carrying a $1.25 million base salary and accounts for $1.75 million cap hit. So it's less than a $2 million cap hit.
So about half of what Gesicki
he's playing for
cost.
league minimum, basically. He's playing for exactly what Blake Bell did last year. So he is going to replace Blake Bell. It sounds like it.
Right, which there's no way he can do that. He can't.
Right, so I think the Chiefs have moved on from Blake Bell.
Yeah, dude, I'm hard pressed to say I would have paid double that money to go for Gesicki. And plus, you keep a weapon away from the Bengals that way because now the Bengals have a viable pass catching tight end.
Irv Smith, if you're brought in to replace tight end 3, you have to be a good blocker. We've shown that Irv Smith maybe not the best blocker, but Gesicki's definitely not a blocker. So
I'm just saying,
depends on what
he would have been useful in some way.
But didn't I tell you? And the reason I constructed this little list of tight ends was I put all blocking tight ends on the board. And yesterday,
except for Mike Gesicki, we stuck him at the bottom.
We put him at 5.
Yeah.
But still, Drew Sample, he was the first tight end that was negotiated with basically yesterday. Why? Because he's a blocking nightmare, and they knew that he would probably be sought after by the Chiefs. Kobe Parkinson was put out there. He's a blocking guy. Adam Troutman's still out there. That would have been a good one, but I kind of knew he was going to cost a little too much.
Now, do you think Irv Smith is more of a response to the fact that Jody Fortson's probably that experiment's done more than Blake Bell?
Could be. I think we're in the Matt Bushman experimental age. That's where I think where we're at. I believe Matt Bushman probably beats Irv Smith Jr. to the roster this year.
So let's talk about some people that left the Chiefs yesterday, and then we'll get back to some of the signings that happened yesterday. But yesterday, the Chiefs, we saw our punter Tommy Townsend go on to the Houston Texans, which we all saw coming. Once they signed Mata Riza, I mean, the writing was on the wall there. But thanks, Tommy Townsend, for being a legend. And then also Chiefs legend Nick Allegretti moved on to the Commanders, where he'll have a starting job and made a little bit of bank over there, much like Andrew Wiley did last year. But yeah, that's a piece right there that I really wish we could have made Allegretti work. But I understand why it went down the way it did. But to me, that's the biggest loss so far for the Chiefs is going to be Allegretti. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Chiefs replenish their offensive line this offseason, because we already knew they had a hole at left tackle. If they're not planning on just going Wanye. And then we know that, going forward, Tooney's deal starting to not look as massive after some of the signings yesterday, which we'll talk about more. But also that means at the same time, that means Trey Smith's going to be expensive as hell. So
yeah, dude, guards have been getting paid.
Yeah,
they have been getting the bag this offseason. What is the deal with that? Like, guard is usually a position that rolls pretty deep in drafts because they're not the sought-after pass rushers, offensive tackles. You know what I mean? You're not your pass catchers. They're usually pretty deep. There's usually a solid 10 to 20 that come out every year that can flat-out play in the NFL. And about 5 out of those 20 every year are Pro Bowlers within 3 to 4 years. That's the way it always works. And this year, in the first round, nobody's even going to look at him. But you got Jackson Powers Johnson, you got Graham Barton, you got Zach Frazier. You're going to have Zach Zinter coming off that bad, horrific leg break with Michigan. It's probably going to settle into round 2. Tons of good ones, but people are out here overpaying for guard. We've always been under the assumption that guard is decently easy to replace when it comes to, I mean, it's much easier to replace a guard or a center than it is a left tackle.
Right. Yeah. So the Commanders signed Nick Allegretti. They've been making a lot of moves, Mike. Like, let me just read off some of their moves. I want to see what you think about what the Commanders have been doing. First and foremost, we know they named Cliff Kingsbury their offensive coordinator. They went and got Zach Ertz. They've also signed Brandon McManus, the kicker, guard Nick Allegretti, center Tyler Bydad. I can't say that guy's name. Defensive end Dorrance Armstrong Jr., running back Austin Eckler, who a lot of people thought the Chiefs might sniff around at, and then linebacker Frankie Lavu. What do you think about their signings so far? You think Washington's getting anything done over there? You think it's going to be more of the same?
I think it's desperation. They're trying to compete with Dallas. They're trying to compete with the Giants. I don't see anybody making a big deal. I'm not a fan of Eckler and the contract he got. To me, it's too expensive. I'm glad the Chiefs didn't throw that on him. I think his best days are behind him. I really do. Look, they're going to trade their quarterback now. They're going to trade the quarterback. And
Sam
Howell? Yeah, and Howell is a good quarterback. I really do believe he's a very fine quarterback, better than what they're going to end up with, in my opinion. So, it is what it is. There was a saying that says the first few days of free agency is basically just panic spending. I seen a guy today that said there's been millions and millions, maybe even forward to $1 billion now spent on free agencies and free agents. And there's not a single Hall of Famer out of this deal. And this is all just, you know what I mean? It's all just, it's panicking.
That went anywhere was probably Derrick
Henry. Just now got signed today. Right. But the first day, I don't think there was anybody out there that moved the needle that much. We've talked about a lot of teams, but let's come back to the Chiefs for just a quick second. Steve, a lot of people thought Darnell Mooney, and look, all we've heard about now for weeks and weeks and weeks is how Darnell Mooney was a lock to KC. Everybody's been talking about how Darnell Mooney to KC, it's inevitable. So simple. How do you guys not see this? It's Darnell Mooney. No, it's not. We told you guys it wasn't because I said Darnell Mooney would be too costly.
Right. He was a good fit for the Chiefs. Let's not get that twisted.
We had him number 3 as a better fit than Calvin Ridley.
Because he was never, ever I don't think it was like a lock by any means. That was crazy for people to be saying.
No, this list was obviously made weeks and weeks ago. It was made before Pittman and Mike Evans even got the tag and the re-sign. Right. But look, Mooney's off the board. Okay. Calvin Ridley is not even being negotiated with. The Chiefs are not even talking to him. His agent come out today and said it's the Patriots and he wants to stay in Jacksonville. They haven't even mentioned the Chiefs. So I don't even think they're talking to him. So the only one still on this board, Steve, that the Chiefs can inevitably sign, I'll get that out. Marquise Brown, our number 1, Hollywood Brown. Number 2, Curtis Samuel. Number 5, KJ Osborne. Number 6, Mecole Hardman. Number 8, Amir Smith-Marset. And number 10, Tyler Boyd. Out of every one of those, Steve, the least amount of what I want is Tyler Boyd. I'd rather them go back to Amir Smith-Marset before Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, absolutely. But
KJ Osborne wouldn't be bad. I would be okay with KJ Osborne.
Just something I want to throw out there. If the Chiefs sign Curtis Samuel, you guys better be out there letting everyone know who said that first.
Yeah, somebody's got to go out there and do this because, look, me and Steve put a lot of work into this and what we do. And what is funny is that we will routinely 99.9% because we don't fit into the echo chamber that is Chiefs influencers, Chiefs everything. They will overlook everything we say and act like we don't even exist. Why they do that, I don't know. Either we really don't exist to them or they don't want to give us any more hype. But I'll say this. We have been on Curtis Samuel forever, and we even had him listed, and this was months ago, as our second best fit. And just recently, yesterday, Curtis Samuel's starting to pick up some hype train, and everybody's acting like they've been on Curtis Samuel. Nay, Steve. Nay, they have not been on Curtis Samuel. Everybody was on Darnell Mooney's balls, and I'm not having it. And then look, who even come out and confirmed us yesterday? The best fit in KC, says Tyreek Hill. Curtis
Yeah,
Samuel.
yeah.
And then what happened? All night long, Curtis Samuel doesn't fit this offense. He
No,
doesn't fit in KC.
what do you mean all night long?
What
But
are you-
now that's their thing.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? What's that narrative? That Curtis Samuel couldn't fit in this offense. If you watch 5 plays of Curtis Samuel, you see that he's an Andy Reid type wide receiver. He runs a 4.31 40 with a 1.49 split. Do you know who else done that? Xavier Worthy. He's the same height as Xavier Worthy. He's 25 pounds heavier than Xavier Worthy. Guess what? That means he can actually take a beating in the NFL, unlike Xavier Worthy could do.
Well, most of his yardage
And everybody's
come from
wanting Worthy like crazy.
That's the thing. Most of the yardage that Curtis Samuel's put up so far has come from Yak, which is what Andy Reid
That's what
loves.
the Chiefs want.
He's a spitting image of what we already have with Rashee Rice, but having 2 Rashee Rices on the field could never be a bad thing.
He's way shiftier than Rashee Rice.
That's true. And also, the underrated part of his game is he does get downfield, create separation, and he catches contested catches. So, I mean, you can definitely use him downfield as well.
Definitely does contest the catches. He high points the ball very well. Curtis Samuel would be a good fit in this offense. Again, I still like Hollywood Brown just a smidge better, but for the price, Curtis Samuel's going to be cheaper. So that's the thing. Marquise Brown, Curtis Samuel still out there, Steve. If you had the preference, which one are you taking? Are you still sticking with Hollywood Brown a little bit, nosing him out?
I think that Hollywood's the best fit for the Chiefs for sure. So, yeah, I would go ahead and put him ahead of Curtis Samuel. Still, I won't change that. But I do think that it could be either or if they even decide to go the wide receiver during free agency route, because I'm still not sold on it.
Right. Some people say they want both. I don't think you can pull both off. But, yeah, Twisted Ginger says they don't want to give y'all the hype y'all deserve. They don't. We're like Lord Voldemort, okay? We're the imposing group that's just coming up on everybody's ass, and they know it. And you know what? They just don't want to do it. If you speak the name all chiefed up and you give us credibility, then that it makes us exist, right? And they want to act like we don't exist. So keep going, keep doing y'all. And we'll sit around here and get stuff right. And all of our people over here that watch us will actually be in the loop of actual moves the Chiefs will be considering. I wish we'd have put Irv Smith on our list, Steve. But you know what? I just thought Irv Smith was a guy that was so bad at blocking
Mike,
that he didn't deserve to be on the
list. Can I
list.
rephrase that for you? Can I rephrase that for you?
What?
You didn't even think about Irv Smith because no one cares about Irv Smith.
I seen him on the list, but I said, this guy can't block. What are we going to get him in here for? He's only 6'2". He's not even like a big imposing target.
Yeah. Well,
wasn't everybody saying Jatavion Sanders was a bad idea for the Chiefs because he wasn't 6'5" like Travis Kelce? Jatavion Sanders is 6'2", 6'3". Like, he's the same size. He's just faster.
Right. Well, some more big signings from yesterday. Kirk Cousins obviously went over to Atlanta. Kirk Cousins is a damn genius. This guy is making bank. I mean, the guaranteed money I think was around $50 million, and he's literally just got a bunch of guaranteed money from the Vikings. I mean, this guy, he's loaded, and he's literally like Kirk's mid. He's known as the mid quarterback.
Right.
It's awesome what he's been able to do. I actually like Kirk Cousins.
Dude, I think Kirk Cousins' agent might be the greatest agent of all time. Because I like Kirk Cousins as a human and as a quarterback. He's slightly above average. Okay,
right.
He's slightly above average. How does this guy keep making the biggest amounts of money?
Well, you know what I found
It's
interesting
insanity.
about it was the Falcons literally passed on paying Lamar Jackson. They were like, "Nah, we ain't gonna pay that guy that much. We can't pay that much," and they go do it to old man Kirk Cousins. Literally less than a year later.
Right.
So, I mean, confusing.
Yeah. Well, look, today, can I throw this up for you, Steve? Did you see what I put on Twitter today, or X rather? Did you see, like yesterday I threw out a L'Jarius Sneed hype trade. It was a hypothetical on L'Jarius Sneed, and everybody and their grandma
having a meltdown.
Had a meltdown about it and said that there's just no way. So let me find it. I want to bring it up for you. Let me scroll back. It takes a little bit of time. So much free agency going down. You know, all of our Irv Smith talk we've had to do. Here it is. I'll go ahead and bring it up. All the Irv Smith chatter, you know how it is when you got Irv Smith out there like taking up all your Twitter feed. Here we go. So this was what I threw up yesterday. Chiefs would get a 2024 second round pick number 42 and a 2025 sixth round pick number 187 for L'Jarius
You meant
Sneed.
2024 sixth round now,
I
right?
meant 2024. Obviously, you don't even know. And right here,
Right.
typo, 2025 sixth round was supposed to be 2024. That got one thing everybody does not read. They just see this and try to tell you how stupid you are. Okay, they won't even read. Could I have went back and edited it? I tried, but it went.
You only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah, so the time. I don't know why Twitter does that. Like
So
if
much
you
for
pay
paying.
for it-
So much for paying for Twitter. When
Right,
they only
if you
give you,
pay
they
for
give you a
Twitter or
time
something,
limit.
come on. But Steve, the Vikings, we said this, and look, they can't do this now because now that you lost Kirk Cousins, they're going to need all the draft capital they can possibly get their hands on.
Right.
They're probably going to have to move up for a J.J. McCarthy or something. But would you have taken that deal? Like, was it because people shot that deal down like it just wasn't even in the ballpark?
Well, I think people in Chiefs Kingdom overvalue L'Jarius Sneed. And I say that knowing that L'Jarius Sneed was the best corner in football last season.
Right.
I mean, but they're still overvaluing him. I'm sorry, you're never going to get a first round pick. If they do, hats off to Brett Veach. But they're probably not going to. And they're for damn sure not getting two. Like a lot of Chiefs Kingdom thinks that they should get 2 first round picks. Are you kidding me? Like, what are we talking about? Like this would be a
Look,
trade
I
that
love-
the Chiefs would have
Steve,
to jump on.
I like L'Jarius Sneed, but let's just be completely honest. His first few years in KC, he led the league in amount of receptions given up. Right? Every year he was the lowest ranked corner
Up
on
until this
allowed
year,
receptions.
Right.
Do what? Yeah, except
Up
for this
until
year.
season.
Up until this season, he led the team in missed tackles. Almost every single season he was here. This year, great season. Good season. Maybe the best DB in all of football. But he still just has 1 year of doing that. If he would have had 2-3 years of doing this, I think you got a big claim to a first round pick. But one single season does not make it to where he is worth that much. It just doesn't. We just seen Brian Burns get traded for a second round pick and a 5th round pick. Brian frickin' Burns, who's one of the most elite edge rushers in the game. And let me tell you something, edge rushers are way more of a premium than a corner that's 27 years old that has bad chronic knee issues, who, by the way,
Right.
at any moment, you know, I'm not saying they're horrible. I don't know his medicals, but we do know he set out the entire training camp. He dealt with those knee issues a lot throughout the season. He played. He
He had to
played
get his
through
knee
it.
drained quite a bit. Had a lot of swelling.
But still, you've got a 27-year-old corner with one really good season under his belt. A second-round pick is completely fine. Matter of fact, Brett Veach actually come out and said to an ESPN commentator yesterday, an insider, I just heard it, Brett Veach is only asking for a second and said that he may have to pull back to a third. Chiefs Kingdom's heads will collectively blow off their bodies if we only get a 3rd round pick for L'Jarius Sneed, because these guys out here living in Madden land think that this guy's worth 4 or 5 first rounders. And some people even think straight up for Jay Jettas. Are you out of your mind?
It's the stupidest thing ever. I mean, guys, let's try not to be delusional like the Bengals fans. Did you see the Bengals? Well, I know you saw it because you left a comment on there that everyone was laughing about. But
Right?
they said that they should trade T. Higgins. This was straight from a Bengals fan on Twitter. Why are we not trading T. Higgins for Justin Jefferson and a pick or maybe another player? Like,
Yeah.
first
that's
of all, you
insane.
think you're going to get Justin Jefferson for T. Higgins, but not only that, you think you're going to get something with it? Like, what
Right.
in the hell are they on?
Right.
You don't want to be that. So stop saying that L'Jarius Sneed's worth 2 first-round
Right.
picks.
So
That's
look,
silly.
when that one got blown up by the Vikings yesterday, this morning I had a little fun. I said, well, look, the Rams need one. They're talking about they need a corner bad. They got tons of draft capital. They need a corner bad. Cooper DeJean's being rumored, but look, he's coming off a broken leg. I think they're picking like 19th, something like that. So I went and looked. I come up with this trade, Steve. The Rams will get L'Jarius Sneed and our 3rd round pick, number 95, because we're going to pick swap thirds. The Chiefs are going to get their round 2, number 52. They pick swap their 3rd, which means we get to move up 12 spots in the 3rd round. And then we get the round 5, number 153 to boot. Rams fans are melting down over this, acting as though that is just insane. Like, they talk about how this is just not even close for the Rams. Chiefs fans are acting like this is just the biggest steal ever by the Rams. This is insane how these fan bases literally will not take off the goggles for a minute. This deal right here, Steve, is impeccable, by the way. I went and done this. I did this off the top of my head. I went back, and I don't like to toot the horn, but toot. I
whatever.
like to toot.
You do.
I do like to toot. You want to know why? Because nobody will give me credit for jack crap. Okay, but check this one. I went back. I did this off the top of the dome at 9 o'clock this morning, and I looked at all their draft picks and all my draft picks of the Chiefs, and I said, what could work? I come up with this one. I went back in and plugged it in a trade value. You know the charts they do with draft picks and values?
Yeah.
Do you know what this turned out to be? Dead even in draft value.
Right.
This put L'Jarius Sneed as a 30th to 40th pick in the draft. That's what basically his value was a high 2nd rounder. And by doing this, it was dead even across the board. So the Chiefs fans that said it was too little, you're wrong. The Rams fans that said it was too much, you're wrong. This is dead down the middle. This is even of a trade as you could possibly ask for, according to the draft value charts. It's pretty insane, right?
Yeah. Well, it's all about just not overvaluing Sneed. I mean, the Lions, was it the Lions? I think that went got Carlton Davis from the Buccaneers. I want to say that Carlton Davis is close to the same age as Sneed, and of course, he's not on that level, but he's still a decent cornerback. They traded a 6th. They got a 6th round pick from this year and a 6th round pick from next year for Carlton Davis. And we're asking for 2 1st round picks for L'Jarius.
Yeah, it's not happening. But
like,
by the way,
about?
This trade can't happen now probably, because if I'm not mistaken, the Rams went out and got themselves a corner.
Yeah,
they grabbed themselves a corner.
I do know that Drew Lock just signed with the Giants.
You like that for them since Daniel Jones stinks? Drew Lock?
What a big move right there.
You think Drew Lock's a little bit better of a prospect? Obviously, he's not getting paid like Daniel Jones, but do you think he's got more promise than Daniel Jones?
No. I don't know exactly what they're trying to pull. I really don't. I don't know what they're trying to pull. I guess they just want a serviceable backup. But Drew Lock's not going to – look, Daniel Jones just signed a contract extension. By the way, that was a horrible extension. But he's not going to beat them out for whatever. 5-bomb from Ron, baby. We got Ron in the house. He says the Rams offered 2 first-round picks last year for Brian Burns. The Panthers screwed up. They did. They offered 2 first, and they took it. They wouldn't take it. That just shows you that, A, if you overvalue what you have, you will be stuck twiddling your thumbs with your overvalued player that you cannot afford to pay. By the way, Steve, can we afford to pay L'Jarius Sneed $19 million to play this year?
Absolutely not. Just want to throw this out there real quick. The Chiefs did just re-sign free agent Deion Bush. So he's going to be back on a 1-year deal.
Another big splash signing, guys.
Well, it's just depth, man. That's all.
It's depth. I get it.
You had to expect it, right? When you have 24 slots you have to account for, you're going to see a lot of these deals.
Well, they're also not restructuring anybody. I don't know when they can. Mahomes cannot restructure till after the new year. So until March 13th, tomorrow at 2 p.m., Mahomes cannot restructure. So you can't.
Right. Well, a lot of people are saying, well, salary cap. And I agree. But at the same time, you got moves they're going to be making. You know what I'm saying? So
look,
they can agree to terms.
Right.
They
can agree to terms.
Yeah.
But they cannot officially free up cap money until the 13th, tomorrow. So,
right. Well, that's fine. I mean, every other team in the world's going over the salary cap, signing people. So, I mean, Doesn't mean that you won't see anything till tomorrow.
Well, do you think, is there any way, in your opinion, do you think the Chiefs can sign back Sneed? Do you think there's any way he puts a Chiefs uniform on next season? Be it on the tag or they get a long-term deal done?
95% no, 5% yes.
I'm right there with you. I think
Ron,
there's a very tiny...
Appreciate the 5, brother. And you're exactly right about that.
Right. Stephen James, our boy Steve-O with a 2-bomb. He says the ACU Williams Wranglers got that title scoop. Dude, appreciate you, Steve-O. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man, it's just been a wild one. The Chiefs are just taking care of business. Brett Veach is sitting back and just doing the little things, right? Like, we knew all this was happening. You knew you were signing back Winchester.
Still think Brett Veach is dabbling in something big, though. I swear I think there's something to the Hollywood Brown.
Well, Hollywood and yesterday, I kind of thought Ridley, too, in a way. Because these guys had their ass on fire trying to sign new deals. As soon as it went to... Monday morning, these guys are out here just signing the first person that throws money at them. Whatever happened to sitting back and garnering a few offers, weighing your thing? This is what I'm saying. They're not weighing their chances to win. They're just like, hey guys, this is a big offer. You better take it. And they're just taking the money. But you see Hollywood Brown and some of these receivers kind of sit back. And again, the wide receiver class, very deep. That's why these wide receivers wasn't getting thrown the bag. But so far, Darnell Mooney got paid well more than he's worth at $13-14 million a year. Right. And Gabe Davis got a steal. I don't know who's the bigger thief, him or MVS, but those two right there need to start. Man, those two need to start their own, like, I don't know, some kind of a money embezzling company or something, because they know how to do it with the best of them.
So I have a question for you, just out of the blue here.
Yeah, go for it.
What's more likely in the next day or two? The Chiefs announce that they've signed a bigger name like Marquise Brown or Curtis Samuel,
right?
Or they have re-signed McCole Hardman to a 1-year deal.
McCole Hardman all day, every day. The Chief, look, Brett Veach, there's two things. There were two sides of the spectrum here. There were those people, and we kind of fell into this side, that thought Brett Veach knew he made a mistake with the wide receiver room last year and he was going to overcorrect.
Patrick Queen just signed with the Steelers, by the way.
Patrick Queen?
Yeah.
I thought they announced he was going to the Seahawks last night. See, these things are not in stone. Anybody now that says they're signing with somebody has not officially put their name on the dotted line till tomorrow. They can all be outbid. But yeah, so there was two camps with Brett Veach in the receiver room. He knew he messed up and he's going to overcorrect, or B, he skated by the skin of his teeth, won a Super Bowl, and that caused him now to double down on his cheapness at the wide receiver position, because he'll say, look, I can cheap it and we won a Super Bowl. Let's do it again. I feel like he's going to fall somewhere in the middle. I feel like he'll fall somewhere in the middle, Steve. So that means maybe a Curtis Samuel, and that's all you're going to get. And then he'll go to the draft, right? But I don't know if he's going to pull it. Hollywood Brown would be like pulling the overcorrection, right? Like going out and paying a big bunch of money, or even paying what Darnell Mooney wanted. $38-39 million for Darnell Mooney would have been an overcorrection. And to be honest, that's going to turn out to be as bad of a contract as MVS when it's all said and done, more than likely. I just don't think Darnell Mooney moves the needle that much at the wide receiver position.
No, Mooney did not intrigue me at all, actually. But yeah, so yeah, Patrick Queen with the Steelers, he did 3 years, $41 million. That's a pretty good deal for both, actually. Linebacker, we did sign back Drew Tranquill, so I mean, there's that. Willie, what about Willie Gay though? Do you think Willie Gay? You think you could see him back on a 1-year deal, or you think he's gone?
No, I think Willie Gay is probably. If I had to just shoot right now and say somewhere where Willie Gay goes, for some reason the Panthers keep popping off the board to me. I have no idea why, but the Panthers just, and now that they got rid of Brian Burns, they already needed an edge rusher. And then they got rid of Burns. They definitely need edge rushers. So I think they're going to try to instill some sort of pass rush. Willie Gay can get after the passer. So if you ain't got a very good line,
yeah,
now you can blitz a little bit with Willie Gay. That's somebody that can get home. I seen that Willie Gay had tweeted today and was talking about how people were underestimating how good he was or whatever, and he said he didn't get to play a lot of snaps here.
maybe he's not getting what he wants in free agency. And that's the thing.
We seen McCole Hardman do that last year.
Right. If he doesn't, and people are undervaluing him, then maybe he could be back on a cheap deal. I don't know. Julie, I'm looking at the TV. She said, what do I keep looking at? I'm watching Bo Nix and Bucky Irving's pro day right now. So.
Yeah, they're doing their pro day at Oregon today.
Yeah.
Oh, Field had to drive over there.
Yep. I don't know, man. I think I don't. My whole feeling about the receiver thing, because that's what people are horned up about, right? Is wide receiver. I think that it would make sense to me, with as bad as they were last season, and as bad as it cost us some games, and first of all, not just that, but on a deeper level, you're frustrating your franchise quarterback. You're frustrating the entire offense. I think that it would make sense to me to go out and get Hollywood Brown or Curtis Samuel and spend at least a second-round draft pick on the wide receiver room. And, yeah, that's classic Brett Veach overcompensation. But if you're going to overcompensate for something, I think our wide receiver room last year constitutes an overcorrection, just like our offensive line did back when we got the snot beat out of us by the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl.
Yep, I agree.
I think you need to go get it done.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't think it's necessary. They're just not on board to thinking that a wide receiver is necessary. They just think you can go to the draft. Look, I like the draft idea as a long-term thing, right? But we know in Kansas City, there was a very small amount of people that actually thought Rashee Rice was going to be what Rashee Rice was. Why?
Right.
They don't use rookies the same way they do everywhere else here. It's hard to learn Andy's offense. It's hard to figure it out. It's hard to get on that same page because you're learning how to do everything, man. Well, these rookies are like just coming into a new world.
That's why my mind keeps going back to Ladd McConkey, because I feel like you're going to get a young guy, like you're getting a rookie, but I feel like he's ready to plug and play. I feel like he's a little bit he sticks out from the crowd of receivers when it comes to his mental ability, like what he does. As far as that goes, I think that he could be somebody that could contribute right off the bat, but you still have that rookie guy that you can have for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Dude, there's a few. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, I think I've talked about him a bunch of times. Ricky Pearsall's in that right there too. He's proved that he can go to 2 or 3 different colleges and he can do it. And he's very smart. He knows what he's doing. Those are guys that you want. You're going to want these a little bit. They're not older, but they're like 23-ish, 24. They're on the older end. They've been around the block a few times. Those are the guys you're going to need. Taking a shot on a 19-year-old, maybe even Xavier Worthy a little bit. Look, I'm coming around to Xavier Worthy a little bit. This is why. You know me. I dig into wide receivers. I went back and watched some wide receiver stuff. I can see how the Chiefs could use Xavier Worthy. I see some very good qualities with Xavier Worthy, as in the Chiefs doing if they can do what they did with Tyreek Hill. Like if you can implement how you ran Tyreek Hill with Xavier Worthy and you get him in space, I think they could work with him. Do I still think he's better than a early to mid second round talent? No, I don't.
That's the thing with Xavier Worthy. I think he's out for the Chiefs just for that simple reason.
I think he's going to get overdrafted.
Yeah, exactly. Xavier Worthy's going to get overdrafted 100% just because of his 40 time. Like the guy's not worth a first round pick, but I guarantee you somebody will take a shot on that kid.
Yeah, somebody's taking a shot on him.
Speed kills, speed sells in the NFL. Somebody out there is going to take that risk. And to me, it's kind of like Jalen Hyatt last year. And of course that did work out okay for the Giants. But I mean, to me, the Chiefs have got to be looking at a realistic, and that's why I was in the Ladd McConkey. You said Ricky Pearsall, like that one. Right. I think if the Chiefs take any kind of risk in this draft, it would be Keon Coleman. And the only reason why I call that a risk is because I think where he's going to get drafted is exactly where that guy should be drafted. But he's not our typical wide receiver. Like he's not what the Chiefs normally have. But I guarantee you out of this group, I feel like he has probably the best chance of being an ex wide receiver in the NFL.
I've got Keon Coleman with a first round grade. I think he's a first-round grade. When it's all said and done, I've got him as a first-rounder. Will he go in first round or not? There were people that said before he ran, if he run in the 4.5s, he's a first-round pick. If he runs in the 4.6s, he's a second-round pick. Yeah. So does a 4.61 constitute pushing him all the way out of the first round because he was 1/100th of a second?
Not if you use your brain and you realize he was the fastest receiver in the gauntlet, which means his playing speed is faster than everybody else.
And
so
he trusts his hands.
What matters more, playing speed or your 40 time in your gym shorts? Shout out Mike for the membership. Welcome to ACU Crew, my man.
Yeah, appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you. Yeah, guys, take a second. If you're with us, we appreciate you. There's over 500 people watching right now. We're almost an hour in. There's still 500 here. People's wanting to see what the Chiefs are doing, baby. Irv Smith. They're wanting to see Irv Smith. They're wanting to see Deion Bush.
They're lighting it up.
We're look, Veach is doing what he's got to do. He's building the roster from the bottom down. He's not going from the top down. He's saying, look, we're going to put the pieces
What
in.
are we going to be able to do here?
He's laying a foundation right now. These are decent signings. Again, the Irv one's kind of weird to me, but okay.
Well,
but I'll say this. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's push this bad boy out to more Chiefs fans. Push it out to more NFL fans, by the way, because we're talking about a little bit of everything today in free agency. If you haven't hit the sub button, hit the sub button. We just reached 25K. We're eyeing down 30K. We're eyeing it down. We'll have that. I don't know what our goal. Should we put a goal up by the draft?
I don't know. We haven't really discussed.
I don't want to put out a goal by the draft. You know what? I just want to enjoy the draft. But if you like draft content, there you go. Patreon.com/allchieftUp. We put up stuff over there. We're on all the podcast, platforms, be it Spotify, Apple, whatever. But yeah, there's some plugs. Let's get back into.
Can I touch on Patreon real quick though? Patreon.com/allchieftUp. Get over there, become a patron. It's $10 a month, so it's a bag and a half of Doritos a month.
Oh.
That's
Steve,
it. Hey,
but have them Doritos, baby.
No, but in all seriousness, we are releasing a lot of content over there, and I'll actually bring that up in a minute. Mike, you can go ahead with what you're doing, but I want them to see what they can get over at Patreon. I think they need to take a look at that because they can get a lot of stuff over there. Totally worth the $10 a month.
Good deal. I'm gonna get on here while you're doing that. Then I'm gonna kind of go through each team and see what they've done for free agency right now. So we'll just start at the top of the board. The Cardinals. Nobody really cares what the Cardinals are doing, but
someone out there does, Mike.
They did sign the Bears interior defender Justin Jones. I thought that was a pretty decent signing if you couldn't have got Chris Jones back. I thought Justin.
Can I just while we're on the defensive interior, can we touch on the fact that I think the Raiders really thought they were going to get a shot at Chris Jones because the minute that he signed, they turned around and signed Christian Wilkins.
Dude, they paid Christian Wilkins a bag, man. He was only supposed to get 21 to 23, and I think they ended up paying him over $25 million, which means Chris Jones deserved to be over 30. If Chris Jones would have signed at 27 and Christian Wilkins would have got 25 and a half, I think he would have fired everybody on the spot.
Now, Christian Wilkins with Max Crosby, that's pretty nasty. I'm not worried about it like people think we should be, but I mean, that's a pretty good little combo they got going there. They're not making the best moves with the rest of it, though.
Right.
So I don't care about the Raiders.
Right. John Coy says Irv Smith may be here to push Noah Gray. He is here on a prove it deal. He hasn't proved nothing in 5 years. I don't expect him to come in here and tear it up. And to be honest, I would take Noah Gray any day of the week. Noah Gray, they may be considering that Noah Gray may cost a little bit too much than what they can pay him after this season. Mm-hmm. So who knows? I'm
going to bring this up real quick.
Go ahead.
So yeah, over at patreon.com, we got all kinds of stuff on here. You got phone wallpapers. We got, 2 mock drafts here. You've reviewed a mock draft, all these episodes here. I mean, they're $3.99 a piece, $5.99 a piece. If you go become a member over there, if you're a patron for $10, you get all this stuff for free. You get all this for $10.
Right. You get everything for free.
So, I mean, it goes back quite a bit. So, I mean, if you want some content to watch, by all means, get over there and check that out.
For sure. Yeah. We're still trying to grow it. But it's going to continue to be bigger and better. David Rodriguez says, let's go ACU. Aren't you guys so tired of all the media and hate comments towards the Chiefs? I guess some of us hate the beef, but some of us enjoy it. It's just never going to end. I mean, look, you still got Skip Bayless out there saying that Joe Burrow's a better quarterback. Like, nobody's just ever going to give the Chiefs their props. I do not remember, Steve, anybody disrespecting Belichick and Brady like they did during that dynasty run as they do the Chiefs.
It's nonstop.
There wasn't a single person out there every
and
year.
The sad thing is there were reasons to discredit them. All the cheating and all the ridiculousness.
But was there ever an analyst out there saying, well, the Dolphins are still the best one in the division every single year, right? Well, the Bills are still the best one in the division.
Well, it's because they had no one in their division worth a crap.
Right. They were playing a bunch of scrubs.
Right.
But yeah. Let's go back to the free agency thing here. Let me just bring this up for you guys so you can see what I'm scrolling through. Steve, you can chime in anytime you see something you want to talk about. I'll just put it up right here.
What do you got?
So the Falcons, man, they've signed Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney. What a pairing. Steve, do you think this shifts the needle for the Falcons at all?
I think it helps. I mean, they have Drake London. They got Bijan Robinson. I do think that Kirk Cousins is a good signing for them, just for the fact.
Kyle Pitts.
Right, exactly. There's all kinds of good young pieces. And who better to put that together than someone like Kirk Cousins, right?
Look, they're better than the Panthers right now. 100% better than the Panthers. Are they better than the Bucks? I think they give the Bucks a run for their money. I think Kirk Cousins now comes in, and I think I would prefer Kirk Cousins over at Baker Mayfield. I know Baker had a good year last year, but he's yet to do it several in a row.
They signed him 3 years, $100 million.
Well, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Kirk Cousins leading your team, or would you rather have Baker Mayfield?
For what amount of time?
Short term. We're just talking this season.
Short term, Kirk Cousins.
Right. So I think that the Falcons now have a chance to win this division. I really do. I think they're in play. The Ravens, they've signed Justin Matabuke back. That was a great signing. Okay. They somehow they give him 4 years, $98 million, 75.5 guaranteed.
Still paid Derrick Henry today.
And they still paid Derrick Henry today, $8 million per year, $9 million fully guaranteed, by the way.
With no salary cap.
$10 million. Yeah. They had $2 million in salary cap. They've managed to do every bit of this. So congrats. The Bills, Daquan Jones, Taylor Rapp. Not great. I think their best move is they lost Gabe Davis. I think that probably is their best move because now that's freeing them up for like a Brian Thomas Jr. or a Keon Coleman in the draft.
Right.
Steve, do you think anybody now competes with the Bills Dolphins? Do you think anybody has a chance to win that division now? You think it's wide open, or do you think it's just more Bills Dolphins?
I actually think the Jets could be a player.
If
Rodgers is healthy and playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've got to fix that offensive line. I think the Jets have to. If the Jets can solidify that offensive line, and look, they've not signed right now. Let me run to the Jets really quick because I don't think they have signed a single lineman. And to me,
that is what they do. That's what they need to get together, though, for real.
Right. It's going to be pretty wild if they have not signed a lineman, which I don't know if they have. Let's be honest. Should be coming up right down here. New York Giants, New York Jets. Okay, so they signed a guard. That's it. They got John Simpson. That's all they've signed. They went out and but look, there's no. Let's be completely honest. There ain't no tackles out there worth a crap.
Not really, no.
There's nobody going and paying. Nobody is paying. You're going to have to be a desperate team that wants to pay old boy from Dallas that much money, Tyron Smith. $10 million for a year, and this cat don't practice.
He's risky.
He don't do nothing.
Yeah, he's risky for sure.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild. Let me get back to the team by teams. Okay, so we're back to the team by teams. The Panthers, they signed 2 guards. Okay, they had to do that. They need some tackles in the draft too. They got to protect. Look, I'm surprised that Bryce Young survived last season as many times he got hit. The dude's only about 55 pounds soaking wet. So they got to do something there. The Bears, Steve, Jalen Johnson, they got him back. They got DeAndre Swift. That's the only thing they've done so far.
They overpaid both of them too.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Ron Poles is reeking of desperation here. Now they do think that they're going to get Caleb Williams, or they're going to sit on a huge offer and try to swindle a bunch of picks out from somebody like the not the Redskins. See, I'd caught myself. The Commanders. Boy, I still hate that name.
They're the Redskins.
Yeah, I still hate that name. It sucks. But look, they think they're going to get Caleb Williams, dude. So, but they're not going to have any weapons. I mean, okay, they've got a few receivers, but you just now lost Mooney. Something tells me that
Maybe
they may
DJ
try
Moore.
to pair. Right, DJ Moore. But you got to have somebody else.
Well,
Something
you got to
tells me
think
they
they
might try
have
to
2
get her.
picks early, man. They got like what, the 1st and 9th pick or
It's
something?
1 and 9. So something tells me they're going to hope that Roman Dunze was the fall to number 9. And if not, they could reach on a Brian Thomas Jr. at number 9. I mean, at 210 pounds, 6'3", 6'4", and he goes out there and runs a 4.33. To me, that's more impressive than the 50-pound kid running 4.21. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. The Bengals. This is one I really want to talk about. I don't think anybody has got as bad this offseason as the Bengals. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but do you think the Bengals have done anything? They signed Geno Stone. Okay. They lose Joe Mixon. They trade Joe Mixon out for, who was it? Moss?
Yeah.
Zach Moss.
That's a downgrade. So,
They're not showing nobody else.
They downgraded at running back. They signed Mike.
You said they signed Mike Gesicki.
They did to a 1-year deal.
So they don't have it up here for some reason.
It's probably not updated. That was today.
They don't have Zach Moss either.
Yeah, whatever site you're using, they stink.
This is PFF, man. This is supposed to be upgraded.
Case in point.
No, they have everything completely upgraded. Here's Derrick Henry. He's been the last person signed. So are we sure that those deals have been finalized?
I don't know, but they're announced. Like, so I mean, they're doing it. I mean, it wasn't made up.
Well, I'm just saying it's not showing. They're doing in chronological order. They've got Mooney and Derrick Henry. So I think those are the last 2. Is Schefter anybody else tweeted?
Yes, Mike. It's Mike Gesicki and Zach Moss.
What are you talking about? I'm saying, have they updated anything else? Is there anything new going down?
Oh no, not right now. No. I don't think the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals have got bad. Like I don't see that yet, because I think that they downgraded at running back from Mixon to Moss, but I think now they have a viable pass catching tight end that they haven't really had. They re-signed Drew Sample, so they have their blocking tight end. They still haven't traded off T. Higgins, even though he requests one. I don't even see them doing it. I feel like they're going to make him play on the tag. I think they're just desperate. They're not like, they don't want to get to a point to where Joe Burrow don't have a million weapons around him. So they're going to do everything they can to keep it that way. So I think the only thing that they lost out on was, downgrading from Joe Mixon to Zach Moss.
Well, I still think T. Higgins is going to get traded.
But if they do trade him, they're going to get at least some draft capital there. They'll probably turn around and draft someone in the draft.
Do you not see what's trending over here? Hashtag Chiefs, Kansas City, and then who's Jarius Sneed?
Jarius.
Who's Jarius?
It's LJ, baby.
He don't have no L's. He don't take no L's, I guess.
That's Jerry Sneed, son.
He don't take no L's. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I think who have the Ravens lost so far? Sneed? Or not Sneed, why did I say Sneed? Gus Edwards and Patrick Queen, right? That's been their 2 big losses.
Yeah, but they did re-sign one of their linebackers too yesterday.
Yeah, but Matabuke and King Henry, I think that automatically they're probably, I still think they're over the Bengals. Still.
Oh, yeah.
Still. So, if the Bengals are trying to catch them, I think they missed out that one.
Well, the Bengals are clearing out some cap space, so I think they're up to something.
Right. We got Enrique with a gifted membership. Appreciate you, Enrique. Appreciate you, brother.
The legend Enrique in the house.
The legend himself. We also got another one over here from Gil.
Gil, baby.
Why
Mike, I need my banner that Gil sent.
Right. Well, I haven't seen you since.
He's like, yeah, you have.
I actually seen you yesterday?
It needs to go right here.
True. Well, you got to remind me. No, I seen you Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. That was it.
But yeah. Okay, well, there's nothing going on right now. We kind of hit a dead point with the free agency thing, but
lots more that happened yesterday that we haven't talked about, really.
Right. Well, I mean, you can go into some smaller things. Leonard Williams.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like breaking news, there's nothing going on now. The latest being Patrick Queen to the Steelers, which is a massive signing for the Steelers.
Let's look within our division. And see.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Chargers haven't been up to much. Like you talked about, they got Gus Edwards. I wonder what's going to happen with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, because they can't pay those guys.
No. Look, the Chargers have brought up Alohi Gilman, safety. They signed him 2 years, $10 million, and that's all they're showing. But we know for a fact Gus Edwards is on this. And
Right.
I'm pretty sure they signed another
You
guy
need,
too.
you need to get off of PFF. They're stupid right now. This is a waste. You're probably gonna miss out on a lot of stuff because they just don't put anybody on the list. Find a new tracker.
We'll find a new tracker.
Yeah, and then Denver's still got to find a quarterback, bro. Like, what do you think Denver's trying to do as far as that goes? Do you think they could be there? To me, they're the only team left that could make a play at Justin Fields. But do you think that Sean Payton wants Justin Fields?
Probably not.
I don't think so either.
Probably not.
Sean Payton's a good football coach, and I just don't see him going after Justin Fields. But do you think they're going to be drafting one? Do you think they're going after like JJ? I think like JJ McCarthy would be a really good fit with Sean Payton.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy is a pretty good fit. Will they get him at number 12? No way in hell. They're going to have to trade up. You're going to have to trade up. So
you don't think JJ McCarthy even gets to pick 12?
No. There's too much buzz about him right now. You're going to have to get in the top 10 to get JJ McCarthy because somebody will do it. That's my estimation right now. That's where I'm sitting at. March 12th. We still got 6 weeks. Okay, so it could definitely die down, but there's no more steam behind any player in this draft like there is JJ McCarthy right now. It is insanity.
Yeah. Well, something you touched on earlier, Mike, that I want to bring up. I think we're getting a little bit of insight on what we're going to have to be paying Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey next season. So
right.
I think the Chiefs have got to start looking at offensive line depth. I mean, we had, like we've talked about, Kennard leaving, going to Philadelphia. That was somebody that I thought we had in our back pocket to play guard. He's gone. Allegretti's gone. Obviously, we still have Caliendo. But, yeah. I mean, coming up next year, man, I mean, you're looking at Trey Smith's going to get a bag. Creed's going to get a bag. Like, whether we can do it or not, that's yet to be seen. But, like, they've got to start getting some pieces in place there on the offensive line, or else we're going to have another problem there.
Right. Who was it, Denver, that re-signed Lloyd Cushenberry back to, like, a monumental deal at center? Look, Creed Humphrey's salivating what he's going to get next season. Like, it's insane. And look, you're going to have to pay Nick Bolton out of that same draft class. That's the same draft class as Trey Smith, too. Trey Smith's not going to get paid. I'm sorry, but this may be the last season with Trey Smith. He's going
to get paid.
Yeah, he might get paid, but I don't think he can be here. Definitely, because, look, I think out of those three, I honestly think since Spags is here long term, they will try to pay Bolton. I think he's the guy they'll try to pay on the defense.
I think that's who you have to try to pay.
Well, a lot of people would disagree with that one.
Do you think that an offense, like a guard, is more valuable than the green dot on defense? Like, what? What are we talking about?
No.
That's not an argument. If it is, you don't know ball, son.
Right, I don't think so. But yeah, Creed is probably looking at a big old payday. So there's no way you're going to be able to pay Creed and Trey Smith. There's just no way for what they're going for.
I was just looking at a mock draft over here on NFL Network, and they had the Bengals taking Brock Bowers at pick 18. First of all, do you think Brock Bowers makes it to pick 18? Second of all, do you think they use a draft pick on a tight end after they sign Gesicki?
Who did it?
DJ.
Oh, the Bengals? He probably released that before free agency. So now that they got Gesicki, I still think they would make a play at him if he fell to 18. Brock Bowers is a player that I have so much trouble trying to find a place to fit, because is he a tight end? Is he not a tight end? He's basically just a pass catcher. He's just a weapon. He's good. He's a weapon. But look, is he going to be a Travis Kelce? It remains to be seen. Could he be a Travis Kelce? Possibly. He's got all the intangibles. So the point is, you get Kelce all the way in round 3, round 4. Are you going to make the same mistake and let Brock Bowers fall out of the top 20? I don't know. Right now, I think that his floor is somewhere around, I think his ceiling somewhere around pick 8. I think his floor somewhere around pick 18 to 20. I don't
Right.
know if he gets past the Colts. I think that might be where I put his floor when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Mango, there is no way in hell that Justin Jefferson will be a Bengal. Do
Yeah,
you
I'm
really
seeing the
think
Bengals say this, and it just ain't
do
gonna
you
happen.
think they could possibly pay Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase? That's not happening. There's just no way.
After just now paying Joe Burrow?
There's no way. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, they've been playing too much Madden over there in Cincy.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
crazy.
Madden has literally destroyed people's brain cells when it comes to looking at the front office way of things.
Yeah.
There's just no way, man. It's just no way. That cat that said that, they started that rumor, thinks that you could trade T. Higgins for Justin Jefferson. Not even straight up. He thinks you can get a pick or a
You
player.
get more
with
in
him.
return? Like, what are you talking about?
You're going to get more in return on T. Higgins, who's a borderline wide receiver 1, at best wide receiver 2.
He thinks that in real life you have that forced trade option.
Yeah, they think you just hit the
you
forced
just force
trade.
anything through. Yeah.
Hey, what in the world? I like it. He says, hey, what's Curtis Samuel to sign in KC? Yeah, well, you come to the right place because me and Steve's been talking about Curtis Samuel being the best fit here for about a month and a half, ever since free agency
Besides
started.
Hollywood Brown, I still think Hollywood Brown's just a touch ahead of him.
Hollywood Brown and Curtis Samuel was our 1 and 2. Mooney was our 3. And basically, if we would have known the price of Mooney being at $38 million or $36 million, he would not have been at number 3. Steve, did you ever think Mooney was going to get somewhere around $12 million a year, like MVS, 11 to 12? I was thinking Mooney would have signed somewhere around 8 to 10.
No, well, I mean, his market value was, where are you at, Mooney? 11 million. So yeah, they overpaid a little.
They
Just off of-
overpaid.
Like, and you have to think market value is just like a guess too. So I mean, I feel like they could have went under that. So yeah, they definitely overpaid. Got a 10 bomb from Black Kraken.
Black
Kraken.
Black.
New subscriber
Kraken.
and Chiefs fan. However, they're making me extremely nervous with all the wide receivers being scooped up. What are they doing? Either
What are
Ridley
they
or
doing?
Brown. Make it happen now.
I got some bad news for you, Black Kraken.
Hey, well, Black Kraken, first of all, appreciate you being a new subscriber.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
brother.
the 10 bomb. That's freaking awesome, brother. But
Also, the name Black Kraken. Come on, that just rolls off the tongue.
even got a cool little
The Black Kraken.
thing to go with it there, the avatar.
Right.
So here's the thing. I'm still thinking that Hollywood Brown's in play. I think that Curtis Samuel is in play. I think that Ridley is still in play right now until I see that he signs with the Jaguars.
Word is with Ridley though, because if you
I
just
get
now
it.
joined us, word is
the
the Patriots are offering him, but he wants to stay in Jacksonville if they can make it happen. That's his 2.
right. But if they can't make him stay in Jacksonville, and the Chiefs were to throw some sort of a deal at him, he's going to jump at the chance to play for the Chiefs over the Patriots. Like, what are you going to do there? I'm going to go have Jacoby Brissett and Bailey Zappi throw me the ball, or Patrick Mahomes.
They said they're going to release Bailey Zappi. I think he's been
Why?
put up for release. No idea what they're.
It's a
Well, they're going to
perfect
draft a
backup
quarterback.
though.
They're drafting a quarterback number 3.
Yeah, but no, I still think they're in play, Black Kraken. So I think you could see it happen. I do. I think it's pretty telling that they could be really, besides obviously T. Higgins out there to be traded. He's demanded a trade, but as far as free agency goes, the 2 top wide receivers have yet to even sign. Like,
Right. From what we
So-
got.
right. So like Hollywood Brown, Curtis Samuel, they've still not signed with nobody. Ridley's not signed with anybody. If you haven't noticed, everybody else just went completely horned up on the first minute that legal tampering was available. And
But wide
That went
receiver has
crazy.
not been a very hot one this year.
that's because the draft's so
Yes,
so
the draft's
loaded
so
with
deep.
wide receivers. It's hurting the free agency pool, which is good for the Chiefs. Great for the Chiefs. But yeah, if I had to guess, I will say this. Hollywood Brown's out there instigating. I'll say that.
Yeah.
He's been on Twitter. He's following Patrick Mahomes now randomly yesterday. He also liked a tweet put out by our friends over at Chief Concerns, with a picture. It was a picture of Patrick Mahomes thrown in front of the Hollywood sign. He liked that post. So he's out there, doing a little Chris Jones type stuff. So I still think there's some sort of a connection there. And Hollywood Brown, with our offense would be pretty nasty. So keep your fingers crossed. You could see it. Like I said earlier, I think the Chiefs need to overcompensate on wide receiver. I think they needed to get Hollywood Brown or Curtis Samuel or Calvin Ridley, and then still draft someone in the second round at least.
This was just posted. Well, it was posted about an hour ago. Jeff Howe says on wide receiver Calvin Ridley is down to the Jags and Patriots per sources close to him. There have been other teams involved. So there's that. We could have been involved. What does that mean? We probably touched bases with his agent and said, what are you guys asking for? And they probably said, about 18 mil per year. And then they said, well, got to go.
Well,
No
that's
number, who it is.
That's definitely the thing with Calvin Ridley is he's got a higher price tag than the rest of the guys. Just real quick, the Bears have agreed to terms with tight end Gerald Everett. So he is officially not a Charger no more.
Oh, Gerald.
And, he's going to be over there with the Bears. So the Bears still making moves over there. I actually like that tight end, Gerald Everett. I feel like he's a pretty decent.
What did he end up getting signed for? Because I thought his market value was pretty high. It was like double digits almost.
There's no details yet. Jeremy Fowler just put this out 56 seconds
ago. Did they say how many years?
No.
No, okay.
Bears have agreed to terms with tight end Gerald
Right,
Everett.
okay. Okay, well, check this out. Jonathan Jones, lead NFL insider for NFL on CBS. He works for Real Sports HBO. He actually just tweeted, it was a little bit earlier. It was actually like 5 or 6 hours ago, actually. I'm just now catching it.
I just tweeted.
But he said something different. So he actually put this out before even Schefter put this out 2 hours ago. So he was 4 hours before Schefter. He says Calvin Ridley remains the top free agent wide receiver on the market. The Jaguars do wish to retain him, and the Patriots are hoping to sign him. So he just did what Schefter did 4 hours before Schefter. But check this one out. Here's where it gets fun. Sources close say there could be a dark horse team lurking in the midst as well. Money will be interesting with a deep draft class at that position coming. I wonder who the dark horse team is on the outside. Is that a Chiefs or is that somebody else? Could that have possibly been maybe the same guys that signed Mooney, Atlanta? Something tells me that the Chiefs offered Darnell Mooney yesterday. Did you get those vibes? I think the Chiefs shot Mooney an offer and he didn't like it.
I mean, possibly. I mean, I think.
Did you see the report that come out and said that Mooney was getting offers from certain teams, but he was keeping his options open?
Right. Well, I think Brett Veach is he's going to do his due diligence on all these guys. But I think with Mooney, I think that he was not a top priority for the Chiefs like people thought he was. I think he was just in the mix. And they probably were like, well, we're not going to pay Mooney more than $9 million a year or something like that. So let's just throw it his way. And,
right.
If he bites, then cool. We get good value. If not, then whatever. That could have been the extent of it.
Doesn't that also just show the whole, the Chiefs have it going for them, man. People just want to sign to play with the Chiefs.
That's not true. It's never true. Players don't play to win championships. Players play for the money.
Right.
100%.
Otherwise, you don't go to the Falcons.
If you're already in a situation where you're making a lot of money, then by all means you want to stay with.
If you won a championship, are you going to go catch balls from Patrick Mahomes, or are you going to catch balls from Kirk Cousins in his first year in a new spot? And by the way, Mooney would have been wide receiver 1 here more than likely if he would have worked out. I mean, Rashee Rice may have.
Well, you know what? I'm not sold on Darnell. I wouldn't even go that far. I think I'm glad that we dodged the Darnell Mooney bullet because Darnell Mooney, by all means, has done absolutely jack crap in the NFL. I mean, I think his top.
He's had 1,000-yard season.
He had one 1,000-yard season. If you go and look at any other season besides that, he's not even topped 500 yards, and he's literally not a red zone threat at all. He gets like 2 touchdowns a year, maybe something like that. It's nothing major. Like, to me, it's just like that would have been another one of those guys where it's like, crap. Let's see if we can make this guy work. Like, I'm over that. Like, if you're going to get somebody, make it Hollywood.
Yeah, I think that we thought
make it Calvin.
I think we thought that Mooney was going to be one of those guys that's like, it's still a project.
It's not a project, Mike. I think it was more of a freaking hope.
It was a hope.
Yeah. Like, let's hope he can be good.
It was a hope.
Yeah, because I was not big on Mooney. Like, that was the one that scared me because everybody was so convinced that we were going to get Mooney. You know, like even some of the Chiefs talking heads out there saying it's inevitable and it's guaranteed they're going to sign Darnell Mooney. Blah 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 blah. And I was just like, you know, I think they're wrong, and I'm glad I think they're wrong because that's terrifying. I don't want Darnell Mooney.
Right. I'm checking some James Palmer tweets. That's another guy that breaks some stuff. James Palmer, man. He's got Kelsey and Mahomes on his X background from NFL Network. Let me see. He's not saying nothing. So there's a little bit of a break in the action here right now. I think all the agents went out and had a late lunch right now. They're working on some stuff. They'll start dropping it again in a little bit. But, Steve, let's get back to
yeah, Karth, absolutely. That's exactly what
that is. That's what that is.
I mean, if they like, that's the thing. Like with the Darnell Mooney, like I said, it's like a hope. Like maybe this guy can be good for us, but we can't pay him a lot of money to hope that. But we can definitely throw a little bit of change over there and see if he bites.
Right.
You know,
Steve, Vegas has signed Gardner Minshew to a 2-year deal.
Yes.
Amir Abdullah.
Yep.
Re-signed. Andre James, 3-year contract to play center, and then they signed Christian Wilkins, defensive lineman.
The Gardner Minshew
signed another defensive tackle.
I don't know. Gardner Minshew makes absolutely zero sense here. I don't really get that one.
That's a weird one, huh?
Yeah. I think if anything, obviously Christian Wilkins is a good signing, but they paid a lot for it. But I think that the Raiders have actually lost in free agency so far just by losing Josh Jacobs, because I feel like he was their best offensive weapon.
Right. Their defense, I mean, Christian Wilkins is a good signing.
I mean, obviously they have Devontae Adams there, but there's no one to throw him the ball. So,
right. Would it surprise you if the Raiders aren't aggressive trying to get up and get a quarterback?
I feel like they might have to be.
I could see them being in the J.J. McCarthy sweepstakes.
They could be in the Justin Fields sweepstakes.
Well, if the Raiders actually you're not going to be able to get to number one. They're not going to trade out of Caleb Williams. But if they really like Drake May or Jaden Daniels, I could see the Raiders trying to throw some stuff up there and get in the top 3. It wouldn't surprise me. Aren't the Raiders in the top 10? I think they're like number 8 or something like that. So
I'm not for sure.
We'll see. The Chargers.
They're middle of the pack.
So the Chargers on Gus Edwards, big running back, Will Dissly, a blocking tight end. Like he's great at blocking. He can catch the ball too. Don't get me wrong. And then Alohi Gilman. So that's the 3 they've signed. Look, they said that they wanted to. That's what Harbaugh said. He wants to come in, run the ball. He wants to do just like he did at Michigan. That's why people like J.J. McCarthy so well. You think he's the ultimate game manager, but
yeah,
they just they can mold him. He's got so much on film that they can mold this guy. So
right. Gat says Veach doesn't act alone, period. Yeah, that's something that people need to realize too. It's not like Veach is just coming up with these decisions on his own. I mean, obviously the coaches are involved, and Veach has an entire staff. One guy's not doing all of the homework on all of these players. So it's definitely
it's just Brett Veach sitting in the room.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people that think that, Mike. So I figured I'd throw that out there. No, Brett, but that's the thing. As a GM, what do? You build a team, and not by just build a team. Am I talking about the players in the field? But you build your staff. You build the coaching staff. Like you put people in places that you think are going to give you the best information, that are going to help you make the best decision. That's just like managing anything. Yeah. Like it's the people you put around you. It's the team you build. It's not just what you do or what you know. And I think Brett Veach has shown that he's put a good team around him. So, but anyway, I just want to throw that out there.
Right. Kelly says, if we don't sign a wide receiver and we have to go to the draft, how worried are you about the offense next season? Man. Well, it depends on who we take and who we don't. So look, let's just have a fun little exercise together, Steve. Who are our wide receivers on the roster right now that you think will be here next year? Do you think Justin Watson's going to be back? Well, we know Rashee Rice, so that's one. Do you think Justin Watson's going to be back next year? Do you think
he's on a 2-year deal for almost nothing? So probably
if they cut him, Lance from the Spoken says that they should cut him. They'll save $2 million. Is he worth cutting to save $2 million?
Possibly. I'm not against that. Can I just be straight honest with you? I don't care if any Chiefs receiver comes back except for Rashee Rice. I don't think there's one on there worth giving a crap about.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, but we don't
Right.
think that they're going to give up on Sky Moore. I don't think anybody offering
Of
a deal
course,
for him.
he's not going anywhere.
Do you think Kadarius Toney will be back? So we'll just say that's 3. You got Sky.
That's the iffy one, right? Because like I think by most standards, Kadarius Toney should be back because he's got a high ceiling. He's on a rookie contract, but he's also been a pain in the ass off the field and on the field.
Yep.
And attitude, that's the best way to get yourself kicked out of KC. So if they cut him, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Sky Moore's not going anywhere. Obviously, Rashee Rice will be here. Justin Watson, like you said, could go either way. To answer Kelly's question, I think the issue is if they don't.
I was trying to do with the wide receivers.
If they do not sign a wide receiver in free agency, like a proven wide receiver, you're putting a lot of trust in them to go in the draft and actually even draft a wide receiver in the first couple of rounds, which we don't know if they will. And on top of that, make the right decision. Because so far, out of all the receiver picks for Brett Veach and crew, Rashee Rice is the only one that's any good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think
they've missed. Under Brett Veach, look at how they've missed on. They missed Jehu Chesson. They missed Cornell Powell. McCole Hardman was a miss.
Big time.
We're still giving up draft picks for him. We lost a compensatory pick. David Miller says, 5-bomb. Appreciate you, brother. He says, what about Tyler Lockett? Tyler Lockett got re-signed. He's not even.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate the 5, though. Yeah, Tyler Lockett is locked in at the Seattle Seahawks.
They re-signed him, so he's not even available.
We had thrown around the idea that he could have been a cap casualty, but they chose to keep him. So,
right. And look, I've seen a lot of people say, "Hey, why ain't we trading for T. Higgins?" Guys, the Bengals ain't going to deal with the Chiefs. We're the reason they put T. Higgins on the tag because they were worried he was going to sign here in free agency.
Absolutely.
Do I think we would have had the money to sign T. Higgins? No. Do I think we'd have given him what he wanted? No. But they were scared, so that's why they put him on the tag. They are not going to deal with us.
Well, Mike, here's something that nobody's discussed yet. Real says Samuel and Hollywood Brown are good, but he has a strong feeling about OBJ. No one's mentioned OBJ in weeks. He's still
OBJ,
there.
Well, here's why. He's not an elite guy. The wide receiver room or the wide receiver position in free agency has not been that hot anyway. They're all getting lowballed a little bit. But the guys that have signed have actually signed for more than they're worth, to be honest. Gabe Davis and Mooney. But they're not getting set on fire here with tons of offers. I think OBJ is like your second, third tier guy. He's just going to be a 1-year kind of guy, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to want to go to a contender. So I think he has to sit back and see how it plays out. I think you got a stronger chance of signing OBJ the later this gets into the process. If you get all the way to the draft and OBJ's not been signed yet, I would come more saying we'd sign him around that time.
Right. Well, Kay Wayne says in the chat, Brett Veach is playing the long game. Is that what he's doing here?
Yeah, for sure. Because, dude, OBJ is probably going to set back with any team, and he's probably going to set back and wait and see who drafts who and who does what, and then what team looks like they're coming to the top. And he'll probably reach out to the Chiefs because that's his best chance of getting a ring. And if it don't happen, he'll go back to the Ravens on him 1 year or somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's going to pick what's best for him. He may take a long time to decide where he wants to go.
Yeah, for sure. We got a 5-bomb from Adam. Appreciate you, brother. He says you are correct. We are going to have to be heavy on the O-line in the draft. At least 2 or 3 picks, then a handful of UDFAs. How about the Jets, Mekhi Becton? Mike, you answered this question the other night, if you want to take that.
Right. So I'll start with Mekhi Becton. I don't think he's a great option if you want to put him in and start him right away.
A lot of talent there, but it's never been put together.
But he never put it together coming out of U of L. It just never happened. He leads the league, or he was tied for first, or he's second, one of the two, behind Jawan Taylor in penalties. He allowed a ton of hurries and pressures. Just not sold on him. Does he have a lot of talent there? Could they tap into it? Maybe you go that route. I don't know. But yeah, I do believe that this is a good draft for needing offensive linemen. The more and more I watch, and people are going to love this if you're a Kansas City fan from the area. Steve, I'm like absolutely like
Dominic Pope or Pooney?
no,
No.
the one from K-State. Cooper Beebe
Oh, okay.
has really impressed me over the past few days. I've been going back and watching a little more film, and boy, he gets out. He gets to the second level. He can get to the corner. He can pull, and that dude is mean. Like, I like Cooper Beebe, what he offers in round 2. I think that could be a beautiful pick there at round 2, maybe even round 3. But I think he's good enough to be in round 2.
My son just turned on Word Party on my TV somehow.
He's
Like he said enough of your football. He must have linked it to his tablet. So I'm watching Word Party now. I was like, what's going on here? Oh, but not to downplay BB there, but just want to throw this out there. Ian Rappaport has reported that sources say that 49ers pass rusher Chase Young has been added to added the Titans to his visit schedule, and he's also going to visit with the Panthers and the Saints. But he'll be going to the Panthers and the Saints first. And
Panthers are going to not let him leave. The Panthers will throw everything at him. Why? Because they have no pass rushers. If he gets to Carolina, he will not get out of Carolina. I can't see it happening. I think they'll overpay him.
Well, I mean, yeah, they done screwed up and botched the entire Brian Burns thing, so I think they have to do something, right?
Right. Appreciate the 5, Adam. Appreciate it, brother. We also got a super sticker from our boy James Horton. Appreciate you.
Let's go, James. Appreciate you, brother.
If you guys don't care, hit that sub button for us right now. Hit that like button. Back out. Hit that like button. Get that like button going. If you're watching on your phone, you might have to take the chat off. That's how you get to the like button. YouTube is wild like that. But yeah, hit that like button.
They couldn't make it easy for you.
Appreciate you guys. If you want to become a member, join allchiefedup.com, or there might be a button down there. Sometimes they'll put it down there, sometimes they don't. So yeah, appreciate you. Be part of the ACU crew. If you like the Chiefs, you like Chiefs content, we're here. We talk about it. We do podcast style. We shoot it back and forth with each other. We talk about everything. We talk about some of the absurd. We talk about the other. We predict the future sometimes. We'll do that. We cover draft content, you name it. It's year round over here. And we're trying to grow this bad boy. But yeah, Steve, if you go to the draft and you do not get a wide receiver here in free agency, let's just say we don't get a wide receiver in free agency. Do you think it's more than likely that Kadarius Toney gets cut if we pick up a wide receiver in free agency, or if we get to the draft? Do you think, you know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Do you think that they come more cutting Toney based on we found a nice veteran? Or do you say if you go to the draft and you got to do it, you may need to keep a veteran around?
No, I know what you're saying. And yeah, I think the highest chance of Toney getting cut is if they sign and draft. If they just sign a free agent, say they were to get Hollywood Brown and they go, I think they go ahead and move on probably. But either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really just depends on how they're looking at it. Like, is Kadarius Toney been the issue that people think he has been? Like, is he that bad off the field? Like, because obviously we just see random stuff on Instagram, right? So I don't know how the Chiefs look at that. But either way, he's cheap and he's got a high ceiling. So, I mean, he could just be there.
So
period.
Let's say the Chiefs let's say they just keep him. Kadarius Toney. You've got Sky Moore. You've got Rashee Rice. That's 3.
Mm-hmm. Well,
are you taking Justin Ross?
Can I ask you? Yeah, Justin Ross is an intriguing one to talk about. But can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Would you rather have Kadarius Toney on the roster still on the cheap, with the ceiling that he has, with the ability that he has, just knowing that it might not ever be able to be put together from what you've seen in his past?
Yeah.
Or would you rather have Justin Watson there, who does not have a high ceiling whatsoever, but you can rely on him somewhat?
I think you go with the reliability at this point. Patrick Mahomes likes Justin Watson. Justin Watson was an unsung hero in a few games this year.
Yeah, he made some big third down catches for sure.
Look, I think I think Watson can be retained as your veteran. I think you probably keep Sky Moore because he's only 2 years into a 4-year contract. Now, I do believe after this year, if he stinks or if he comes in for the first 8 games and he's not any good, I do think they will try to field some offers for him. Again, how many teams are going to offer anything for him? But if you can get rid of him for a 7th-round pick, they may do it.
Right.
But I do believe when they go to the draft, they will look at it. I think it's going to go to 1 wide receiver. They may take 2, but I think they'll take 1 wide receiver. I don't know when they'll do it. And then they may look to the UDFA because they've still got Nico Remigio. And this isn't going to be another 7 wide receivers, 6 wide receivers. I think they'll get right back down to that 5 wide receiver mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was detrimental last year to a lot of the receiver growth, to be honest. I think you seen Rashee Rice flourish when he didn't have to fight so many players on and off the field, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what they do, but I don't know. I really don't. I think if you see a veteran not get signed here in free agency, it's helping Kadarius Toney stay on the team. I think you're seeing a lot there.
Yeah, Adam with the 5 bomb here says, my buddy's son is in the draft this year. What do you think about Christian Boyd? He is a local KC born and raised late defensive line help. Love Christian Boyd. I think he's one of the sleepers, in my opinion. Northern Iowa, I think. You and I, am I right on that? Yeah. So like smaller school guy, but I feel like you can get him later in the draft, and talent's ridiculous with him. If you look at like PFF scores, he was ridiculous. So yeah, definitely do like him. I am a fan, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've actually got him just outside my top 10. He's number 11 on my big board. He's 6'4", 317, big kid.
Yeah.
He went to Blue Springs High School. Pretty sure. He didn't do nothing at the combine, so we didn't get 40-yard dash, 10-yard. He didn't get invited. I don't know why he didn't get invited, to be honest. I thought out of Northern Iowa, he should have been able to come and do well. I do think he played one of the All-Star games, though. I can't remember which one. If it was the Reese's Bowl, Senior Bowl, or if it was the Hula Bowl. I just can't remember which one it was, but he did okay. And at 6'4", 317, I think that would be a perfect replacement for, a Derek Nottie type run stuffer. Right now, I've got him somewhere going between round 3 and round 5. That's where I've got him comped. So we'll see, but a pretty good grade on a kid from UNI, to be honest. But yeah, Christian Boyd's definitely a name that we've been on for a little bit here. So appreciate the question, Adam. And also, it's pretty cool you know him. That's pretty sick.
Heck yeah. 5 bomb from Dorian says, I'd love to take or grab Brown and Samuel, or Brown and Ridley, or Ridley and Samuel.
So 2 of the 3.
I don't think that they're going to sign 2. I just think that the wide receivers are so deep in the draft this year that it's almost pointless to waste a lot of cap space. But I do think they need to pay someone a decent amount. I think you definitely need to invest in wide receivers. So I'm good with, in my personal opinion, I'm good with Brown, Samuel, or Ridley. Those are the 3. Mike, I've told you since day one, that's my floor. If they're going to sign a wide receiver, they need to be a Curtis Samuel, a Marquise Brown, or Calvin Ridley. I don't want any more projects. I don't want no more Moonies. I don't want no more of this or that. Like, that's my floor. So I'm right there with you. But they're not getting
1, 2, 3, right? But we moved Ridley down to 4 in place of Mooney because we thought the money was better.
Right, but then Mooney ended up taking way more money than he even.
Which I'm telling you right now, if the Patriots have already got an offer on the table and he's waiting on the Jags to throw out a better offer. He's playing hardball. He's trying to throw out a better offer. He's in a bidding war right now. I would say the third team involved, if it's the Chiefs, they're out with Ridley at this point. If Jacksonville, look, if he's waiting on the Pats offer, because the Pats got tons and tons of money. Steve, I told you this the other day. I said the Pats got a lot of money. They can fix this pretty quick. They got to get a quarterback, but they can fix it pretty quick. To me, I think it's between Brown and Samuel right now, and there's no way we can afford both of them. So I love the sentiment, and I don't think you need to pay both of them. And this is controversial too. The more and more I'm thinking about it, this is such a deep wide receiver class. I don't know if you have to pay either of them. I really don't. I don't know if either of them swing the needle as much as like a Mike Evans would have. Steve, you can go to sleep if you want. But I'm telling you right now, if I have to overpay these guys, If you're not getting him around if you're not getting Samuel around his $10 to $11 million market value, if you're not getting Hollywood around his $14 million market value, I'm not overpaying him. I'm not giving him 17.
I'm fine with not overpaying, but to not invest in a receiver after the debacle we watched all last year, that would piss me off a little.
But that doesn't mean just because you don't sign a free agent doesn't mean you're not getting anybody. That means you still got all off season to try to pull out a trade. You still got random cap cuts and random cuts that are going to happen. If
it's there and it's feasible, I just think it'd be stupid. Are you going to do the same thing you did last year, where it's like,
no, but this is it is a deep wide receiver class
all the way to the trade deadline and still not do anything?
Well, I'm just saying it is a deep wide receiver class. So if you could pull out a Ladd McConkey in round 1 or a Keon Coleman in round 1. What if you pulled out a Keon Coleman in round 1 and then round 3, round 4?
Like, I'm fine with that, but I have no faith that the Chiefs would ever do it.
Well, yeah, but
that's why I want them to sign Hollywood, or I want them to sign Samuel, or even Ridley.
But what's more likely? They don't?
Yeah, of course.
You're forcing the Chiefs to play a game that they don't play, which is pay money to free agents.
Look, here's my thing. You're not going to pay much more for any of the 3 guys I just talked about than what they had slated for MV ass. So let's think about that for a second. And then also, they were willing to pay Tyreek Hill $25 million a year. So they're not opposed to paying a receiver if they can produce. So all I'm saying is, why don't they go get a receiver that they know can do something, which is the 3 guys that I've named already, instead of taking shots on everybody? Right. And yes, I still want them to draft one. Like I said earlier, I think we were so bad at wide receiver last year, and it affected so much, even to the mental.
Hey, I understand it.
Of your freaking
look at it this way.
Do both.
You've got 3 wide receivers right now, and this guy's got them on the screen. Brown, Samuel, and Ridley. We pretty much know that we're priced out of Ridley at this point. All I'm trying to say is everybody to this point, it's not been a hot wide receiver market, but Mooney has got more than his annual value. Gabe Davis got just a rip-off contract. If that is any sentiment as to where Brown and Samuel were going, Brett Veach will not pay it. He's going to throw them his offer,
right?
Just like he did D-Hop.
Well,
and they'll take it or they won't.
As long as he's doing his due diligence, there's not much you can do after that. But I think that you have to give him a respectable offer. I don't think you can just lowball everybody out there and hope to God that one of them's like, oh, okay.
I have a very, very faint feeling that we did that with Mooney yesterday. I think we threw Mooney about $11 million yesterday. He didn't take it.
I don't even know about 11. I feel like they probably lowballed him pretty good because, like I said earlier, I feel like that's a guy where it's like, if we can get great value on him, then okay.
What did he end up signing for?
Was it 38 a year? $13 million a year, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if I'd have been comfortable paying him MVS money.
You asked about Gerald Everett's contract earlier with the Bears. He ended up at 2 years, $12 million. Max value of $14 million. 6.1 fully guaranteed.
That's way lower. That was way lower than his estimated market value. I think his estimated market value was like 9 to 12, somewhere in that range.
Is that something that the Chiefs could have played ball with? Gerald Everett's a big guy. He can block and catch.
They could have. I don't know. I mean, do you think they might try to restructure Kelsey?
I don't know, man. His contract's so low already.
That's what I'm saying. But do you think they try to make it better? Pay him what he's worth, free up some money in the short term, and maybe get his contract somewhere closer to Chris Jones? I feel like if Kelsey plays, he's not playing longer than Chris Jones. He may not even play as long as Chris Jones.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm
just saying, do you think they maybe restructure him somehow, give him some more money, and let him finish his career here and just put like 3 years on it and be like, hey, this is the timeline, man. Give us 3 years. Give us 2 years.
I mean, anything's possible right now. I mean, they're gonna have to weasel around some things to free up some money. So
appreciate you, Dorian. Though, by the way, Angry Junkie German says, "Stop trying to replace Noddy. He's solid." Well, I'm not trying to replace him. He's just not signed to the team.
Yeah, he is not a Chief right now.
Yeah, and he was on a 1-year deal last year, which presumably just means that
they were buying time last year. Yeah,
and he's going to go test the market. So it's not that I'm trying; he's just not here. So
we don't have to try.
Right. C-Dog says, do you think our wide receiver coach, Embry, is good enough to develop the young guys? Absolutely.
Rashee Rice had the fastest development of any rookie wide receiver we've ever seen.
Well, that's another thing. It was, Sky Moore and these receivers stink because of Embry, but, like, So if he got the criticism, does he not get the praise
Right.
for Rashee Rice? Like,
And he
I don't know
definitely
how that
should.
works.
Yeah. I mean, no one expected Rashee Rice to do what he did. I think we all thought it was there, but we thought it was like, 2 or 3 years away, not, 10 games into the season. He was just going to turn it on like that. That was wild.
Lancelot says DJ Chark's cheaper and better than MVS.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan.
He still doesn't move the needle for me. I don't think I want to throw out money for that.
I think he is better than MVS, but he's still that type of player. You know what I'm saying? Like he definitely has better hands. That's for sure.
Jared with a 5-bomb. Appreciate you, Jared. He said, I hate the fact that once DK becomes a free agent, he'll be too old to play with us.
We would never pay him anyway. If we were stupid enough to draft McCole Hardman ahead of him, then there's no way the Chiefs would have ever paid him anything. Like, that's how much they thought about him, which is strange.
Yeah, it's pretty odd. Dude, I'm just the later and later this is getting. I mean, this is usually Brett Veach's MO, right? Thanks, Jared, for the 5, by the way. Hey, put some legendary, put some legends in the chat. Put some let's throw out some catch-ups. We haven't done that in a while. Throw some catch-ups out for Adam, Jared, Dorian, James, David Miller, Black Kraken, Enrique, Mike, Steve-O, and Ron. You guys helping us out a lot, man. We're putting in some time here in the middle of our day. We just crossed 700 people. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're coming in, you're probably a fan of the Chiefs. So we'll recap what they did today really quick. Give us a like. Give us a follow if you haven't followed us already. Appreciate it. Steve, what have they done today? Deion Bush? They signed him back to a 1 year.
Right. So can we start back from yesterday?
Yeah, okay, let's go yesterday.
So we lost punter Tommy Townsend, but we'd already signed Mike Ariza, so we all saw that coming.
The punt guy.
No surprise there. We weren't able to retain Nick Allegretti. He got the bag from the Commanders.
Right.
So we're going to definitely need some O-line depth coming up here in the draft and things. Today, fast forward, Irv Smith, the tight end, signed him to a 1 year deal, and then also signed Deion Bush to a 1 year deal as well.
Irv Smith, by the way, is playing for chump change. 1.2, 1.4 million, somewhere in that range. He can definitely be cut.
I wish I made chump change.
But here's my thing, though. I'm just saying that as in Irv Smith does not guarantee make the roster.
I want pizza or Subway. I just decided that.
Well, daggone, thanks for letting us know. Just thanks for cutting me off and letting me know that you want to eat pizza. I appreciate it. Put some pizzas in the chat for Steve. Do we have any Subway sandwich chats?
The weird little Caesars commercials on with the pizza and sticks, and it has the weird peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Have you seen the new things that Little Caesars is doing now? They're coming out with these little like mini looking pizzas, and they're just like little mini pizzas with like cheese or pepperoni in them.
Yeah, no.
They kind of look like a bagel bites or something.
I'm okay. I'm good.
Appreciate it though. Yeah, man. Pizza don't sound that bad.
Pizza and sticks looks pretty good though.
But I'll say this one.
Ooh, now it's Wingstop. Mike, go get me some Wingstop.
Quit watching the TV, bro.
All right,
just quit.
Focus.
Quit.
I'm hungry, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going right through lunch. Didn't even have time. Doesn't matter.
I ate a Nutrigrain.
We'll be on here for a little bit longer. We'll probably stick it out for a little bit longer. Steve.
We'll be here for a while.
We've pretty much covered everything the Chiefs have done, which, by the way, again, it looks like we haven't done nothing. But look, getting back Chris Jones was huge. I mean, that's big. The Chris Jones thing was big.
Yeah, I just got to talk about this for a second. BW, you're way off base. You're way off base here. Blake Bell was one of the best blocking tight ends in all of the National Football League.
Yeah, he was rated pretty high.
Yeah, Irv Smith cannot block.
But Irv Smith's worse. To answer your question, he said, can Irv Smith block?
Right, because he said Blake Bell couldn't.
Right, if you thought Blake Bell couldn't block, Irv Smith's never going to be able to do it.
Yeah, Jesse Colby says that Rashid Shaheed, he's a saint. There's nothing you can really do about that.
Well, like I said, you can always try to trade or something. It's not the end of the world if you don't pull off any of these guys, right? And then you can still always have like camp casualties. You may get cap casualties.
Right. Mike, just real quick. I'm so lost on the Blake Bell narrative. There was one play.
What's your Blake Bell? Oh.
There was one play last year where Patrick Mahomes threw a terrible ball and Blake Bell didn't get it because it got knocked away by a defender. Yeah, I got picked. And all of a sudden, everybody thinks Blake Bell was just the worst thing ever.
Well, honestly,
and like I don't care. I don't
you're
love
putting
Blake
up a
Bell.
roster spot for a guy that like is asked to catch 3 balls a year and block.
Right.
I mean, he's not supposed to be groundbreaking, and you're
I'm just
replacing him with a
confused
guy
on where
that's
that.
not
I'm just confused on where that
groundbreaking.
came from because by all means, I think he might have like had like one fumble, like his entire career
Yeah,
with the Chiefs.
he had a fumble last season, didn't he? Didn't he have a fumble and a pick? He caused the pick.
He didn't cause that pick. That was a terrible pass.
No, that was a bad pass by Mahomes. Nobody thinks Mahomes can do any wrong, but Mahomes causes a lot of his own picks, minus the ones Kadarius Toney's tipping in the air.
Right, but Blake Bell, like, he's actually been pretty decent and solid for the Chiefs for what they needed him to do over the last few years.
Ira Gilroy with a 5 bomb says trade a 6 for Robert Woods, sign Hollywood Brown, draft one of the Texas wide receivers. Wide receiver room is exponentially better than last year. Yeah, I don't even think you have to trade for the Robert Woods. I think you could just sign Hollywood Brown and grab A.D. Mitchell or Xavier Worthy. I think you're fine. If you do sign Hollywood Brown, you don't take Xavier Worthy.
What about Hollywood Brown?
I think you would take A.D. Mitchell.
Hollywood Brown. Who would fit better with Brown and Rice? Do you think McConkey would be nasty in that mix?
Yeah, look, you still got to have a great slot receiver, and if you're not going to let Sky Moore do it, then by all means, go get Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, well, Ladd can also, he's more versatile. He can go inside out too.
Ricky Pearsall can do that.
Yeah, I love Keon Coleman, but I think if you put Hollywood there, I don't know if he'll fit in the mix.
I'm pretty sure Keon Coleman, though, could actually play some slot.
I'm sure he could.
He's slot.
He's huge. Your mother
is a slot
receiver. Well, I appreciate the 5, Ira, but while Mike's checking out Keon Coleman being a slot, JCP let the boy watch with the 5 bomb. He says, look at the new KC Star article about a racist imagery. Not sure how an arrowhead is racist. Anything and everything is racist to an idiot. Yeah. We'll throw that out there. Like, yeah. And you can make anything bad if you want to, if you're that dumb.
Look, KC Star is trash.
Trash.
All they do is try to, drum up some crap.
The Chiefs are bad role models because they drink alcohol.
Yeah. We're not worried about the KC Star. They are the most failing newspaper. I don't even know how they're still in existence. Let's be honest.
I talked so real quick on that. I actually talked to a Native American the other day for about an hour. We had an hour-long conversation, and that came up about like the
because he noticed you were a Chiefs fan.
Exactly. And he said, and that's why he brought it up because of my license plate on my car. And he was basically saying that is the worst narrative, like that really pisses off a lot of Native Americans, is because he thinks that when teams like the Redskins name their team that, or the Chiefs name their team the Chiefs, that they were trying to show that their culture and they were like powerful and strong, and like that's why they wanted to name their football teams after them, because that's what they wanted to portray. Not that they were running them in the ground. But he went on a whole hour-long conversation about it, and he made a lot of sense.
It's an intriguing conversation because I know you got people that say, well, if it offends just one person, you should change it. Well, everything offends everybody.
Yeah,
so
that's BS.
Nothing exists.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
But no, he also
why does nobody get angry about the Fighting Irish? Why are the Irish people not out here just raising all kinds of
can't be making fun of redheaded people like that.
They just call them like tiny leprechauns and drunks.
No, but no, he even brought up how Lamar Hunt actually got the okay from, I guess, a local Native American.
Yeah, they give him the nickname Chief.
He knew a lot about the subject, and he's talked a lot about the Redskins thing as well. And he made a lot of sense. It's just like people are stupid. They're always looking for something to cry about, be offended about. They're always offended for other people. Like, it's never those people. It's usually like people trying to be, hey, I'm so great.
To be on a soapbox so they can feel better about themselves.
Appreciate the 5 and a 10 bomb from Scott.
10 bomb from Scott, baby. Let's go.
Freaking go, baby. Let's go. See, what are we going about?
You made me
appreciate
hungry,
the 10.
dude.
I'm starving.
Look, I still got my 2 little cows here.
What cows? What are you talking about?
They're my little.
Oh, yeah.
My Hershey's cows, the Milkalicious.
Is that what you're going to eat for lunch?
I'm going to have one. Oh,
I had a brunch of Nutri-Grain bar, apple cinnamon. It was
it's
delicious.
got chocolate milk in the middle of it.
Yeah, I remember talking about that because I was really confused at how that works.
Yeah, appreciate you, Scott.
Does it
10
taste
bomb.
good?
I shouldn't have done it. I instantly regretted it. Why? Because then my mouth is going to be dry. And it's chocolate. It's probably going to make me look like I'm missing
It has
teeth.
milk in it. What are you talking about? It kills two birds with one stone. Lucas says sign Hollywood Brown, sign Chase Young or Xavier Howard. Do you like kicking the tires on Chase Young? Like, I
Yeah.
know, like, obviously
But
the
you're
Chiefs
not
aren't in
gonna
the
be able to
mix.
afford him.
Yeah, he's visiting 3 teams already, and the Chiefs are not in that conversation.
Out of all these, Hollywood Brown would be the only one I'd throw money at.
Xavier Howard's
Xavier Howard.
old. Yeah,
I still think we need him. We're built to just have young corners, man.
we don't need to pay a corner. That's the whole reason why Sneed's going to get traded.
Yeah, Spags' entire defense is just built to, like, the corner position is fine, but you can flourish with young guys there. We did it for years. So, I mean, it's easy to think about how good Sneed was this season, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But Sneed wasn't, like, the end-all be-all his first 2 years. Like, he didn't really start coming on super good till year 3. So, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I'm going to see if there's anything else going on. Anything announced? I noticed it was, like, really heavy early today, and then it's kind of slowed down. I'm sure it'll pick back up here any minute.
People are tired, man. You know what
still
they're
some
doing?
people
They're at
available.
home right now counting their cash. They're out having
Ian
having a good
Rappaport and Adam
lunch, dude.
Schefter, they're eating pizza while we're sitting here.
Yeah, they're out having lunch while we're sitting on here talking about, like, we're in the world's Adam Schefter. He's eating pizza, bro.
Tell us what's happening. What's he doing?
Here, I'll call up my source, see if I got anything going.
Man, while you're talking to your source there, Mike, what do you think? I think the most likely thing for the Chiefs to do today is nothing else. Would you agree with that? Or like,
Yeah.
or by nothing else, I guess I should clarify. They might retain some more players, but I don't
Right,
think
I was
they'll
gonna-
sign a new
yeah.
shiny piece. So is that where you're at with it?
Yeah, I think you're going to come more seeing the Chiefs just keep signing in the house. I really do.
Ray,
I
they
just-
traded Joe Mixon to the Texans, actually. They were going to release him, and then they
Yeah.
traded him.
You want to know why? My theory on this is, too, that it picked up on Chiefs Twitter last night that Joe Mixon might be a nice complimentary piece and that he still had something left to team up with Pacheco. And then as soon as that got hot on Twitter, the Bengals rescinded and started taking trade offers. I think the Bengals are terrified of the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they're
me
just
too.
flat out terrified of
The
us.
Chiefs are their daddy.
That's
have
why they
to
talk so
respect
much
them.
trash, right? Because
Right.
they're scared to death.
They're like the rebellious teenage son. Jared Williams says, "What if Sky Moore came in the chat right now? What would you guys tell him?" So I'm sure that you guys would have
That's
some
a
nice
good
words for him.
question.
And I know Jared's probably talking to the people in the chat here as well. But I wanted to throw in my 2 cents. Mike, what would you tell Sky Moore? Because personally, I would be like, Sky, like, you have the talent. We know what you could do. I think what Sky
Are
needs
you having
to
a heart
do.
to heart with Sky?
No, it's not. And, I don't even know if it's for lack. It's not lack of effort. I think what I would suggest to Sky is to give Andy Reid a reason to use him where he needs to be used. Like, I think Sky could flourish in just a slot position. So maybe he has to, be vocal and be like, you know what? I'm not comfortable doing this, or this. This is where I'm good at, and this is where I could make your team better.
Right.
So can we do that? Like, try to work that out. Like,
I would tell
otherwise,
Sky Moore,
he's going to
Steve,
fall into oblivion.
I think it's easier. I think you tell Sky Moore to lock himself in a room and become a student of the game. Find yourself a couple wide receivers.
Talk about a
such
heart
as-
to heart. You went
Yeah.
straight.
But I would say find
TGIF on him.
yourself a couple wide receivers that you can model your game after, be it Julian Edelman or whoever. Watch how they run routes and get very good at running routes and the nuances of it. Because I believe that's what's holding Sky back, is the way he runs the routes and just not being on time a lot.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was humming in the background. I was imagining while you were talking, like the Danny Tanner music playing from like Full House when they're having a heart to heart.
Steve, I'm going to smack you. Andrew says trade for T. Higgins, sign AJ Epinesa. Both of those are impossible. Epinesa has already been re-signed by the Bills, and T. Higgins.
They will not trade.
They're not going to talk trade with the Chiefs. We are the reason that they tagged him in the first place. They didn't want him coming here in free agency.
Right. Ira with another 5 bomb says a good corner shuts down wide receiver ones. A good pass rusher shuts down all of them. 100%. That's why Chris Jones got paid. That's why Sneed's not going to get paid from the Chiefs. First of all, we're built to let Sneed walk. Like, we have all these young corners, a lot of good talent, and we're the best at developing them. And then, man, people just...
I'll go a step further. A good pass rusher also shuts down the one wide receiver that the corner shuts down. So, for example, Sneed looked very good against Jay Jetta last year, right?
Right.
But if we didn't have any pass rush and Jay Jetta could just sit back there,
he had more time.
If Kirk Cousins had 20 seconds in the pocket and Jay Jetta could just run and do what he wanted to, he's getting open eventually. And all the rules are centered around the defense. And guess who's one of the most grabby corners in all of football? So, yeah, pass rush is where it's at, man. Pass rushers make good corners.
Absolutely. Well, they definitely help.
I think they make them, to be honest. Because you will see, for example, do you think if Sneed goes somewhere that don't have as good of an offensive line as we had last year, you think he's going to allow 0 touchdowns again?
No.
I don't think he'll have another season where he doesn't allow a touchdown.
I think a lot of it also was the scheme of Steve Spagnuolo. Like, I think if you put L'Jarius Sneed out on an island with the number 1 wide receivers all year, with a different coordinator, a different defensive line, it would be a different story.
Right.
I think.
Daniel asked about Danielle Hunter. Hey, that'd be awesome, but I'm just under the assumption that we can't afford anybody right now. I feel like Danielle Hunter and all them were going to sign here in the next few days. Again, the Chiefs cannot restructure. They can talk it, but they can't announce it and put it on the books until the new league year. At least Mahomes can only restructure once per league year, right?
Yeah.
So until the league year rolls over, he already restructured last year. That's why we got Tranquil and Mike Edwards. That's another guy, Steve. You think the Chiefs are going to throw money at Mike Edwards, or do you think they're just going to let him test the market?
I don't think there's much of a market to test, to be honest. I don't think anybody's out there dying for safety. On top of that, I think Mike Edwards was good, but I don't think he went out there and did anything groundbreaking.
I think by them getting back Deion Bush today, though, I think he's going to walk.
They had him on a 1 year last year. I mean, they could definitely do it again.
Right. But I think Chamari Connor played enough that did well, Brian Cook, and I think now getting Deion Bush back on that one, I think they don't
have to re-sign Mike Evans, or not Mike Evans, but Mike Edwards by any means. I don't think it's a move that they have to make.
Yeah, it's a wild one, man, but it's kind of dead right now. Kind of dead with the reporting. Again, I think everybody's just out to lunch.
I want to be out to lunch.
They were working this stuff up into the middle of the night. Oh, here's a new one. 6 seconds ago, baby. I caught it right on time. The Colts are re-signing. Here, I'll just bring it up. The Colts are re-signing. Why can't I read this? Oh, sorry. Wrong tab. I got about 7 tabs. But here we go. I'll bring it up for you. Colts are re-signing Kenny Moore to a 3-year, $30 million deal that makes him the highest-paid nickelback in NFL history. Not the highest-paid Chad Kroger, who is also the highest-paid nickelback in history. The deal was negotiated and confirmed by David whoever and Trevon Smith of Athletes First. Steve, this now sets a pretty good precedent for how nickels are going to be paid throughout the – do you even consider – I guess at this point you don't even consider – McDuffie is a nickel anymore. He's probably just going to be corner 1. But dude, if the nickel's getting paid $10 million a year, I'm telling you, Sneed's still going to get that $15-16 million.
Sneed's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
I firmly believe anybody thinking that Sneed's not going to get that $15-16 million out of their mind. I think he'll still get it.
Yep.
But that's the new one. The Colts re-signing Kenny Moore, baby.
But we got really sidetracked. I was asking you. Aside from the Chiefs doing nothing or just retaining players, what if they were to get a new piece by the end of the day today? What's your guess?
I think they'll either they'll either make the deal for one of the two receivers. That'll either come through tonight or tomorrow for Hollywood or Curtis Samuel. That's one of them. Or possibly they just re-sign somebody like, I think they'll wait on somebody like McCole Hardman in a way. I think they're going to kick the tires on a lot of things.
Why would
I think
you
McCole
do that
Hardman
now?
is yeah, I think he's like a guy that he's like a, well,
nobody else wants him.
McCole Hardman.
There's no one out there being like, we need to get McCole Hardman. I mean, you got to think the Jets were the only team that
today, though, right? So maybe they'll throw him a birthday gift.
Last year, he went into the free agency thing and he was throwing a fit on Twitter because no one was wanting to sign him. And then he finally got signed by the Jets, who in turn decided they couldn't even use him. He's definitely not a hot commodity out there. So I think you're right about that. I think the Chiefs can afford to wait till the last minute and only sign McCole Hardman if they absolutely have to.
Right. That's what I think they'll do there. I don't think they're gonna like just go out and like knock the windows in trying to get this guy here. I just don't see it. So yeah, I'll say maybe one of the two wide receivers. And again, I'm not sold that they're still going to be able to bring those in.
Signing Curtis Samuel is about the only one that feels logical to me on this.
Yeah, they're not guys. They will not trade the Bengals. It takes two to trade.
The Bengals are not giving T. Higgins to the Chiefs. Yeah.
If Steve's got a Snickers bar and I really want that Snickers bar, but we hate each other, and I'm like, hey, Steve, you want to trade me that Snickers bar? I'll give you like $20. He'll be like, I want 50. Right? Like, it's just not happening.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, man.
It's still just a pipe dream with this T. Higgins.
Exactly.
I don't even think T. Higgins is a wide receiver one in this league. He's a borderline.
I think he could be, but yeah, he's definitely borderline.
But what are you going to have to pay T. Higgins?
A lot.
When you sign him. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I just think T. Higgins is a wild one.
At least
one
20.
of the ones T. Higgins has been a Chiefs kingdom, like just
remember there was some weird
Creed Humphrey.
Yeah, there's some weird talking heads out there being like, look, we should trade Creed Humphrey for T. Higgins. This
Ever
was 2
since
years
that
ago.
happened, man. Ever since that's happened, everybody's been enamored with T. Higgins, and he's not that great.
That's the thing. They're making him out to be something that it's in their head. Like he's not actually done it.
I don't think, man, they're making him out to be like Mike Evans or something. Ira with another 5 says more hype for Hollywood Brown or Tyron Smith signing. Yeah, I don't know about Tyron.
I don't either, but
I
both
wouldn't
of
be
those are more
opposed to it.
likely than a trade for Higgins or even Justin Simmons. We don't even need that. We were just talking about how
I think they're going to extend Justin Reed.
Yeah, that's what they should do.
I think they'll look to extend Justin Reed, to be honest. I think he's earned it. Look, I don't know where half of Chiefs Kingdom that just dogs Justin Reed has come from.
I don't get it.
Here's what I feel like happens, Steve. This is how I feel like the way the world works. Thanks, Ira, for the 5 bomb. Appreciate you. This is the way it works. Some random Chiefs talking head from any other channel than us, because nobody listens to anything we say. Okay. We don't exist. Here's the thing. So we'll just say Arrow loving country. Okay, that's the new one that popped up. The Arrow loving country network.
Just any form of something that starts or ends with Arrowhead or says Chiefs in the title.
Right. So here's what they do. They get bored one day and then they go on and they say, man, I don't like Justin Reed. We should go. This is a good safety market. And then everybody sees that and they say, oh my God. Brilliant.
They try to play it off as their own opinion.
And then before you know it gets echoed 50 times between all the other Arrow Chief networks or whatever. And then before you know it, everybody has to think that way. It becomes groupthink. This is how T. Higgins has happened.
That's why everyone absolutely
Chiefs Kingdom is one of the worst group thinks I've ever seen. That's why they think L'Jarius Sneed's worth 7 number 1 picks at this point.
It's why they absolutely hate Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Sky Moore.
It's why they didn't want to sign Chris Jones back, because he set out a game last year. So group think said, no, we hate him. And then it's just wild, dude. I wish everybody thought for themselves a little bit more. And we try to be a little different here. And we talked about this the other day. By me and Steve trying to be different, we try to stick to football and common sense and logic. We want to be good, bring you good, solid football takes. solid. Like at the end of the day, even if the takes are wrong, we want you to go and be like, those two guys are pretty knowledgeable about what they talk about. They may not always be right about everything, but they have a thing. But at least we give you the opinion. But I feel like everybody else just comes out with these absurd, asinine things just to get Chiefs Kingdom riled
We
up.
should
like,
trade for Justin Jefferson.
right. Like,
Yeah.
we should trade Justin Jefferson for Sneed straight up. God,
makes
in
him
no
feel
world
good.
is that ever happening.
No.
But boy, everybody got horned up about it. And so everybody likes them more than us because we're the Debbie Downers over here that just tell you that it's not going to happen. I'm sorry that I'm telling you the truth. I'm like the mom that won't let you eat the Snickers bar for breakfast, right? Like, I'm looking out for your best interest, but you don't like me.
You are hungry. You keep talking about Snickers bars.
Have a Snickers. Hey, well, we've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes, man. Here's what I think. I think what we should do is just go have lunch, man. Everybody quit. The Chiefs ain't signing nobody today, is it?
I think
I don't think it's happening. Yeah, here, I'll tell you guys what. We've had a good conversation today. If the Chiefs make a big move, and I'm not at work yet, we'll jump back on here and we'll talk it out. If I'm at work, Steve will do it by himself. How about that?
yeah.
So be on the lookout of more all chiefed up coming up tonight if anything happens with the Chiefs. If it's a slow Veach day, if Veach is still on vacation, I think Veach has signed. Here's what I think's happened with Veach, Steve. I think when Veach called Clark Hunt in the middle of the night and told him he signed Chris Jones to that massive deal, Clark Hunt has now bound and gagged him and threw him in a basement somewhere in a dungeon. And that's why we don't know what Brett Veach is doing. Like, he is locked up somewhere in a dungeon.
You're like, no.
And Clark's like, I got to figure out how to pay Chris Jones, bro. I can't pay nobody else. Go sign Irv Smith. He's like, hold him over. Go sign Irv Smith. Do you think? You think Irv Smith was like, do you think he was high on our priorities going into the offseason? Like, do you think the Chiefs had an offseason board of free agents and Irv Smith was like at the tippy top? They were like, Irv Smith, baby.
Like, damn, Irv Smith's still available, guys.
Like, daggone, this is the second day of tampering. You got through the first day of tampering? Irv Smith got through day one?
I got to share this real quick. So this was basically the Chiefs in day one of free agency. Let me make sure I picked
Hey, do we have enough room on the screen to show what we did on day one? We did some tenders for Mike Caliendo.
I tweeted this yesterday. I said, this is the Chiefs while every other NFL franchise or team plays Madden franchise today. And it's just not the most perfect tweet. It's kicking back. And look at the shirt, baby. Look at
Tom
the
and
shirt.
Jerry, they're trying to catch the mouse.
No, Tom and Jerry, baby. That's the play that won us the Super Bowl. That's how much we care about what's going on right now. We got our Tom and Jerry shirt on. We're kicked back, kicking our little feet.
Hey, D+. T. Higgins is not a number one receiver in this league. He's borderline. He's borderline. He's yet to prove it. Steve, do you think he's proven? Is he a proven clear-cut number one receiver?
No.
There's no way. If you guys think, I can name 20 receivers better than T. Higgins. Like, easily.
Well, could he be a number one on some team in the NFL?
He most definitely could be a number one, but he's not a guaranteed
he might be a top
number
32 receiver. But yeah, I don't know how. Like, you know who else is a number one receiver? Like the 32nd best receiver in the league.
Right, he's a number one receiver.
Right. So I mean, I guess if you're
who
going
was
that
it?
route,
was Justin Watson a number one last year for us? Like, look, he's not. Like, obviously, he was not the number one in. He wasn't even the number one in Cincinnati.
Well, let's just start going through some teams. Let's start naming teams. Would he be a number one at the Chicago Bears? No. DJ Moore probably
would
takes
get
it. Would he be a number one at the Green Bay Packers? They got young guys.
Maybe. Christian Watson can't stay healthy. Jaden Reed's not a number one, so he could be a number one there.
Let's see. Would he?
But it doesn't matter if you're number one or not. It's do you have enough talent to put up number one numbers? Like, are you ever going to be
That's exactly it. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I think of wide receiver one, I think of the top guys in the league that can take a game over.
Adams.
Yeah, or even Jamar Chase's teammate. For the love of God.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't even number one there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Justin
I'm with
Jefferson.
you, Mike.
CD Lamb.
I'm with you. Like, is he a wide receiver one in the league? Yes, sure. But I think we're just coming from two different angles.
Okay,
here.
Brent, let's try it. I'm gonna do this off the top of my head. You ready? Actually, I won't do it off the top of my head. I need the teams in front of me so I can remember. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll do AFC West.
I'm just gonna start naming them.
Look, AFC West. Let's just go AFC West. Devontae Adams is better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. The Chiefs don't have anybody better as of right now.
I would put T. Higgins around Cortland Sutton, something like that. Like I feel like Sutton could be a very viable wide receiver one target.
T. Higgins is better
on a certain team.
Do you think T. Higgins is better than Keenan Allen?
No, absolutely not. That's not even close.
Okay,
so of course, with the age and stuff, we can go that
right.
route.
But at the primes, no.
Absolutely.
So there's two. Dude, obviously he's not better than Mike Evans.
Just start naming them, dude.
He's not better than Michael Pittman.
Better than him. Michael Pittman's better than him.
CD Lamb's better.
CD Lamb, Tyreek Hill. I would say other dude on the Dolphins is
Jalen Waddle.
Close to being better than
Jalen Waddle was higher ranked. Jalen Waddle was the number 7 wide receiver in all football last year, maybe number 8.
Right.
So yeah, I probably would put Jalen Waddle ahead of him.
Yeah.
Dude, that's 8. We didn't got to the AFC West yet. Or the AFC. Stephon Diggs is better.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Jettis is better.
Yes. If you're going to the NFC now, then we're talking to Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He's better. That's
Kupp,
11.
12.
Puka
Nacua even right now.
I won't give Puka Nacua just yet.
Because it's not proven yet. I got you.
It's not proven. Jamar Chase is better. His own teammate was better last year. We're already at 13.
At least.
You're already at 13.
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin's better.
Let's see.
Garrett Wilson's better.
Yeah, I said him.
Okay, I didn't count him. So now you're at 15. Dude, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to come in the league and be better next year. I bet Malik Neighbors comes in as better.
I'd be willing to bet there's more out there that we're just skipping right over.
That's why I said if I had a list of franchises in front of me, DK Metcalf's better. Debo Samuel's better.
Yes, DK and Debo. For sure.
AJ Brown's better.
Brandon Ayuk might be better.
Brandon Ayuk might be better. Dude, that's 20. Easily. Devonta Smith's probably better.
Yeah, you said AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if DK Metcalf's not better, Brent, if DK Metcalf's not better, he's not worse. They got to be neck and neck.
I don't think that's.
But how do you think DK Metcalf's not better?
Could you imagine DK Metcalf over there with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow as opposed to the trash he's been playing with?
Right.
Like, come on, DK's way better.
Look, DK Metcalf's career's got 372 receptions, 5,300 yards, 43 touchdowns. I bet you. Okay, and look, and I know T. Higgins has not played 5 years, but I would guarantee it's not even close. Here we go. T. Higgins. T. Higgins has played 4, so he's played one less season. And by the way, he's played with Joe Burrow, not Geno Smith.
Right,
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
T. Higgins, 3,600. So he's 2,000 yards shy. 43 touchdowns to 24. He's got half his touchdowns. He's got half his receptions. Dude, there's no way. Look, I'm telling you guys overvalue T. Higgins like you're overvaluing
that's wild.
Sneed, bro.
T. Higgins is he's a borderline
wide receiver.
Yeah, he's borderline wide receiver 1 because he's not going to do anything special.
Right.
But he's
somewhere around the 20 to 30. On any given day, he can beat maybe 20 through 25. But he's not a top 20. Like, I'm not paying him Jay Jetta's money. You're not getting that.
Yeah, no.
No way in the history of the world.
He's definitely well, he said you could name 12 better. He's easily not a top 10 receiver. So, I mean, we could definitely name 12 better.
What about Kadarius Toney? Is he better? No, I'm joking. Steve, would you say Scott Moore's better?
What's his name from the Saints? The young guy. He's better.
Oh, Chris Olave? You think Chris Olave's better?
Yeah.
Michael Thomas in his prime was better. So about 4 years ago on Michael Thomas, he would have been better.
Well, yeah, but Thomas is falling apart.
Man, that's a receiver I wish we could have snagged. Was the year with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Remember, I was begging. I was like, man, I wish we could get up there and get Olave. I thought I really liked him.
There is another Buckeye receiver out there waiting to be signed, and he fits right in with the Chiefs.
Oh, Curtis. Oh, by the way, Curtis Samuel, again, and a lot of people love Xavier Worthy, right? He ran a 4.21. Steve, is it crazy that Curtis Samuel ran a 4.31? He's 1/10 of a second slower than the all-time number at the combine. And people's like tripping over themselves and salivating over Xavier Worthy. And Curtis Samuel is 1/10 of a second slower. The exact same 10-yard split time of a 1.49. Jumps the exact same vertical. And he's 25 pounds heavier, which means he can be durable.
And he's NFL proven.
Yeah, NFL proven for 5 years. It's insane how people just are. I don't know, man.
Flashy. People like flashy.
Yeah, they just want flash, whatever's hot at the moment. But yeah, I think we're going to bail out. We will be back if something happens. It's just got kind of lulled and dulled, and we've been on here for 2 hours and 20 minutes. But we appreciate everybody that donated, kept us afloat today, giving us a little bit of your hard-earned money because, well, this is kind of a job, so we put a lot of work in. But yeah, I think we're going to get off. We're going to grab some late lunch. I still got to do a lot of draft stuff today, man. I'm still ranking my top 150, top 200. I'm getting at that. But yeah, hit that like button on the way out.
The work never stops, brother.
The work don't stop. Hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys being here the entire time. Steve, it's been a wild one, man. But what can you say? Irv Smith,
baby. I didn't expect much more from Veach today. But I still think there's a chance. Everybody, you can have that little bit of excitement because there's a chance. Hollywood Brown's still available. Curtis Samuel still available. Calvin Ridley still available. I mean, that's not out of the question. So keep your eyes peeled. And like Mike said, we'll be back if something comes up. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that as well. But appreciate you being here. Hit the like button on the way out, and we'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.
Appreciate you guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.